Fan Centre.
Good afternoon, I'm Max Scott here with your sports headlines. Martin Keown believes a 6-point lead is actually better for Arsenal than a 9-point one.
If they go 9 points clear, then it's theirs to lose again. And we get all of that propaganda that is worked to try and keep this story alive.
Propaganda from who?
Well, that's what I would see it as if I was on the inside. I'm listening, I'm shutting out all the noise.
Yeah.
Get your head down, win your matches.
Keown says the Gunners can put to bed any accusations they're mentally weak with a run of victories. Elsewhere, with pressure mounting on the legitimacy of Christian Romero's captaincy at Spurs, Simon Jordan says his latest red card at Old Trafford over the weekend makes Thomas Frank look weak.
If Thomas Frank were working for me, I would be asking him why he doesn't have control over his player. Why his player seems to believe on 2 or 3 occasions now he's able to say what he wants about what he wants when he wants.
Romero's serving a 3-match ban for being sent off just 6 days after complaining Spurs don't have enough players. Spurs take on Newcastle live on talkSPORT 2 tomorrow night. And we understand Sandro Tonali is keen on a return to Italy, with Juventus among a number of clubs interested in signing him this summer. Read more about that on the website at talksport.com. And former England cricket coach David Lloyd says Brendan McCullum could stay on after this T20 World Cup after all, despite England almost losing to Nepal.
His advantage will be they've just beaten Sri Lanka, which nobody tends to do, so that's eased his situation. And of course, if he gets credibility of getting to the semi-finals and maybe to the final of this T20, I think he'll be safe.
More T20 World Cup analysis on talkSPORT's Following On podcast.
talkSPORT News.
Claims that former Prince Andrew leaked information to paedophile Jeffrey Epstein are being assessed by the police. And Downing Street says Sir Keir Starmer is not resigning over the Lord Mandelson scandal. More from the news team in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, your go-to destination for quality tyres from great brands like Continental. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Mostly cloudy with some brighter spells possible. Heavy rain and strong winds pushing into the southwest with a risk of flooding.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals and taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Where this afternoon, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
Well, coming up over the next 3 hours, top ex-ref Graham Scott gives us his take on the mayhem at Anfield. Danny Kelly goes game by game through the Premier League weekend, and England World Cup winner and City fan Will Greenwood and what we've learned from the first round of Six Nations games.
We'll also bring you the clips of the month and ask for your votes. And Traitors finalist, personal trainer and QPR fan Jack Butler pops into the studio.
There's all this, plus British NFL star Effie Abada looks back on the Super Bowl, and we'll head to the Northamptonshire village that's gone darts crazy.
We'll head to the dark side, I thought you were going to say.
Dartford village.
Well, it's not a Dartford village, it's in North. Anyway, we're going to head there. It is 4 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy. Just the 25 years you forgot you put your headphones on.
Headphones weren't plugged in, and the brilliant design of this new studio makes it very difficult to actually put them in. But never mind, I'm not complaining.
You're not a man who complains much. You seem to be wearing quite a lot of food down your frontage there, Andy. A bit of stainage.
Oh, God.
Yeah, exactly.
What happened?
I've got no idea. I mean, have you eaten anything? We had a bit of chocolate, have you?
Avocado.
Oh, avocado.
Oh, honestly, it's ridiculous.
Man, he is a man who's often covered in stain. Even his wife, his good lady wife Sue, often points out that he's a man of much stainage.
From my grandfather. My grandfather was very.
Was it the incredibly stained man?
He was.
Is he from the Legion of Alternative Marvel Heroes?
He used to eat with a napkin tied around his which is what I
he'd
should
wear
do.
it.
Yeah.
So it's always nice to get something from your ancestors, isn't it? Yours is messy eating.
It is. Oh, God, these headphones.
What's the matter with you, man? Plug yourself in.
Good. Well, yesterday, what a great day's football.
It was nuts, wasn't it?
It's mad, really.
Fantastic game, though. Very enjoyable.
Yeah, very enjoyable. I wasn't sure about the first half, though. I got a bit sort of. I've got this problem this season with first halves. I lose my patience. I thought it was so much better game in the second half. So I thought I put my phone away because I wanted to concentrate on the game, and then I sort of found myself at a bit of a loss. So I started plucking my ear hairs.
Oh,
and
thanks for sharing.
I know. 33 I plucked out in the first half.
Ah.
I photographed them and did a little map.
Can you not sort of shave them off? Do you have to pluck them? That sounds...
they're better if you pluck them.
33?
I know, it's tremendous. You wouldn't believe it, would you?
On the inside of your ear?
No, on the top and the side. Yeah, definitely. No,
wow.
I know.
I mean, sometimes I really wish you didn't tell me stuff. I know all I can see you sitting in front of the telly with some tweezers plucking. You haven't got a picture of it. You've just gone for your phone.
Oh, yeah. No,
not the pile of ear hair.
Oh, yeah, I took a photo. I did a little map. Look. It's really quite good.
You're a sick man.
There we go.
We got to put that online. It's actually he's written the numbers, and how bad was that? I don't even think the first half was that bad.
It wasn't that.
The idea, the alternative to that first half was for you collecting.
But you can do it while watching the game. It's not like your phone.
Yeah,
the phone is distracting.
What you can't do is filling a sheet from 1 to 33 with each hair next to it. That's a sick mind.
It is really. What can you do? And I haven't got a couch.
We will put it up on the group so people. Oh, we should just point out. Welcome to our new backdrop. If you're watching
tremendous
on YouTube,
if you're listening on radio, it's
TV.
Fabulous.
Well, let me just give. We decided to give this backdrop that we have here a little bit more personality. So here's our good friends at Talk Station. That's us, Hawksbee and Jacobs. Talk Sport.
There's my ear hair, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got Andy's got the birthday spread. Nice cake for the birthday spread.
Yeah.
Nice England. Obviously England fans. Spurs shirt. Got a Chelsea shirt.
Yeah.
What else we got? We got clips of the week on cassette, on video cassette for some reason. Those were the days. I don't quite know why that is. The Falls panel, little graphic there. So thank you. Very nice.
Lovely.
I think it may be a day of personalised
very, very
sets, good. I'm guessing.
So,
we can't be the only ones they've done it for.
No, absolutely not.
At least it gives us a semblance of longevity. Would suggest that we'll probably see the day out.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And
not after your ear hair story. It's disgusting.
Probably is, really.
Yeah.
Well, we all do it. We all got them, haven't we? We all.
Yeah, but not everybody puts them on a piece of paper and numbers them 1 to 33 like a game of battleships. That's what he's done. We will put that up online for you to enjoy.
I haven't got a couch at the moment. It's being reupholstered.
I'm not again.
No, this is a different couch. I'm sure.
People who've been listening for a few years will know the original couch reupholstering story, where the bloke had to come in and the leather had all
rang
worn.
Me during the show. He normally does.
Yeah.
To take the call because it was important.
So have you used the same guy?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, you are listening to talkSPORT, and we did have one of the games of the season yesterday, but we're going to come on to that with Graham Scott and Danny Kelly. We're getting all the fluff out the way, all hairs out the way. Yeah. There was a squirrel on the pitch, wasn't it? That was good.
Yes.
Did you see that? Squirrel on the pitch at
the pitch, yeah.
You'll be there at the weekend. The
Hull squirrel. Yeah, definitely.
That's right. And fans loved it. I mean, it took 10 minutes to get the squirrel off.
Well,
one of the players was Ivor Panda. I do what pandas and squirrels must be fine. I mean, have you is the immediate. What's your name? Ivor Panda. Have you? But what's your name?
Honestly, if your name was Panda, you wouldn't give your son. You wouldn't call your kid Ivor, would you?
Well, he's Croatian. I mean, Pandur. It's UR, so it probably means something else. Yeah. I mean, he's not from Hull. Not a bloke called Ivor Panda from Hull.
He should be Chi-Chi. Anyway, that shot by Soboslai was such a brilliant shot. I was thinking about it. Not only was it the definition of unstoppable, but the way the ball flew. They always say that, this new ball flies truer than any other ball that we've ever had.
Yeah.
I bet the boffins at Puma, when they were testing the ball, I bet it never did that.
No.
I doubt
He's just so good at them, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean,
the swerve was just amazing.
It's that thing of a goalkeeper wanting a decent view of it.
Mm.
But an extra person in the wall wouldn't have hurt, would it?
No, it wouldn't have hurt. That's true.
But, I mean, there was a couple. I mean, I saw Donnarumma last week make about 2 or 3 great saves. One from Udogie, which was very similar to the one yesterday. Big deflection. And he also had one from Xavi Simons. I mean, he is a great keeper.
Oh, he's a wonderful
That was 26 million well spent.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was linked to you, and you weren't keen, were you?
No resale value. You know what Chelsea are like.
Yeah, good player.
Did you
What a
see?
goalie?
I know you saw Poch on that podcast.
Well, I've not watched it all. I've listened to about the first 20 minutes, and the stuff about it's on the High Performance podcast, and I mean, to think he was that they wanted to, Tottenham were going to get rid of Harry Kane, and it was only that Pochettino said, I want to keep him. I think this is a prospect, and they said, well, we're bringing Danny Welbeck in. And then Danny Welbeck went to Arsenal because Olivier Giroud got injured, and I think Arsenal upped the money and fought a bit harder for him.
In the end, it was
that's the old sliding doors moment.
Of course.
I mean, I'm sure he would have gone on and had a great career somewhere.
Absolutely. But did you notice his hair? He's done a Cesare Maldini.
Has he?
Have a look at Poch's hair. It's like auburn.
Oh, is it really?
Never that colour before.
Okay, well, he's in America now, isn't he?
Don't do that. Just go grey with Grace, I say.
Who's Grace?
Oh, lovely girl. I know, I was saying
yes.
No, I've told you that. That's it.
Okay.
I've got a lot of football points to make with you.
Well, Danny Kelly's going to join us to do that. We are going to kick off, though, chatting to Graham Scott, the former Premier League referee. Very interesting piece in his Telegraph column. They often joins us, and we thought today is the day.
All the old refs,
to get Graham on.
The old
for a
refs
chat.
think it was the right decision.
Yeah.
A shame, really.
Pete in Edinburgh says 33 hairs from one ear, the Hawksbee and Yeti show. He's got a point. I'm sorry. You've put me right off my lunch. I was having pork scratching, says Chris.
Oh, yeah, well, that would...
Oh, the hair in the pork scratching is just like, it's like Willy Wonka's golden ticket, surely, isn't it? I would think.
I don't like that.
You feel like you've missed out.
Not good.
Doesn't the ref carry a Harvest Crunch bar in his pocket? I don't quite get that. That was Chris has given us that one. So what was that referring to? Can the producer tell? What's the producer got? A mouthful of food? Sorry. Squirrel. Oh, okay. Of course, the squirrel.
Yeah.
The squirrel. I see. Anyway, you want to get in touch this afternoon? We're going to have the clips of the month for you later on. We're going to ask you to vote for that. talksport.com/H&J. You can text to 81089. You can tweet to TSH. We got Rio Beach, I've noticed, on one of the signs. Is that because of your infamous video that you made on Rio Beach?
It's still on YouTube, that.
Yeah. Maybe we'll play that out for you a little bit. First, we'll put up Andy's ear hairs. Then we'll play you a video that he made in 2014.
I promise you, me in swims...
It's Andy in a pair of...
It's more revolting.
There was an advert around 2014 of a bloke with a bit of a derby on him walking along the beach in Rio, and it was reenacted by Andy. So maybe we'll put that up for you at TSH. We do spoil you today, don't we?
Yeah.
Do spoil you. But yeah, Graham Scott's going to kick us off. Danny Kelly joins us. Will Greenwood, you want to talk a bit of City, of course. We're the England World Cup winner, but we're going to talk Six Nations. I was a bit uncomfortable watching Wales get shooed by England the other day.
I didn't even bother.
There's that little bit of Welsh in me. It's not that. It's just, as we were saying the other day, you need a strong Wales, don't you? It's important. We're talking to Ben Kay about it.
Edifying, isn't it?
It was. It was a bit like tough old watch.
It's a bit like the Super Bowl as well. It wasn't a great Super Bowl. Now, I mean, there wasn't a touchdown scored to the fourth quarter. I mean, if you like defensive struggles, I suppose you just...
Oh, we all love a defensive struggle.
Danny Kelly, I know, stayed... I did what I usually do. I just watched the prelims, the anthems, I love the players coming on. I love all that. Watched the kickoff and went to bed.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Committed.
Yeah.
Thankfully, our top team didn't, who brought it to you. I'll have some highlights. And F.A. Abada, the NFL player, Brit NFL player, will join us. And of course, we had British interest, didn't we? Adam Durd, who did sensationally well. And it was his defensive work that they feel was the difference. Jack Butler from Traitors, you know Jack, he was absolutely gutted at the end of it and a bit angry that he'd been booted out by the two winners. But Jack's a QPR fan, the Traitors finalist. He's popping in to see us later. And all manner of other stuff. Andy Brassel guiding us around Europe. Angelina Kelly on the women's game and all the big talking points around that. It's Hawksbee and Jacobs here on talkSPORT with our very good friends at Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station, and former Premier League ref Graham Scott up next.
Legendary retired referee Dermot Gallagher joins us here on the show. How are we, Dermot?
Hi, Majestic. Hi, Al.
Hi, Dermot.
Listen, let's just get your thoughts off that straight off the bat. We don't want to ask you no questions. You're the ref. Tell us what you saw.
I have to say, I get what Alan says, and I think lots and lots of people will say, give the goal. It keeps 11 against 11. It keeps everybody happy. But when you look at it, there's no doubt whatsoever Szoboszlai is fouled, and by Haaland fouling him, he will argue that stopped him clearing the ball off the line. But you go back, the only reason Szoboszlai gets that far back is because he actually hauls Haaland back. That's the first foul. So I don't think I think Craig has tried to play advantage because he thinks it'll be a goal.
Definitely, Dermot. He's played advantage,
yeah,
isn't he?
Yeah, he's played advantage, and bear in mind, Al, that he can always bring that back if it goes wrong. So
but if you go to the second part, right, where Haaland fouls him, right, but the ball's gone in the net. So why didn't he play advantage there as well?
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Very good point from Warren in Bolton. As a money-saving guide for Andy, guys, why doesn't Andy use his discarded ear hairs to reupholster his sofa? By the sound of it, he'd probably have enough within a fortnight. Good point, Warren. Well made. Thank you very much.
Be very nice.
We will put that graphic. I mean, it's just a bizarre thing to do.
I suppose so, yeah.
To number and photograph the 33 ear hairs he plucked.
Yeah, I don't normally photograph them or number them.
No, well, that's a relief.
Was a bit mad.
Anyway, let's reflect on what was a very entertaining game. Certainly the mayhem at the end of the game between Liverpool and Manchester City. Neil Warnock, before we hear from Graham Scott, the former Premier League referee, Neil Warnock called Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist on breakfast this morning. He heard former Premier League ref Chris Foy discussing the disallowed third goal and Szoboszlai red card. And this was Neil's take on it.
I remember Bill Shankly saying, they know the laws, but they don't know the game. Yeah. And nothing has changed in all them years. I listened to Chris, and Chris is a lovely bloke, but he's one of them. They know the rules, they know it inside out, they know what should be happening, they know this, but they haven't got any idea about common sense. Are you enjoying Premiership now? I'm not. No. I mean, I thought last night's game was fantastic, and I think if that goal had been given in the end, it would have ended a great game. The Liverpool have got their player for the next game, but you don't get too many games like that now. No. Everything's talking about VAR, and I mean, we all wanted it, but it's killing. I mean, imagine now as a manager.
In a world, that's Neil Warnock this morning. In a world before VAR, the referee would have used the phrase 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
He would, absolutely.
We don't live in a world before VAR, unfortunately.
We don't.
And sadly, in law, I hate saying that, he got it right. It doesn't mean he's comfortable with it. Certainly not in the eyes of one of his former colleagues, Graham Scott. Who
didn't help with the Norman Collier announcement afterwards.
Yeah, after... pies at the back of the
it was one of those
parking in the it was a bit Norman Collier, wasn't it? That's the trouble.
Yep.
Anyway, Graham Scott joins us now. Hello Graham.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, you make the point in your column today. You would have hated giving that. I mean, it's just. Wouldn't it be great if someone suddenly went falling down, suddenly went rogue, and while he's being asked to look at the screen, we know he can't do this. Just suddenly say, "Hang on, guys, let's all take a step back. Let's remember why we got involved in football in the first place. Have we all gone collectively mad? We all know what we've just seen, but he can't do that, can he?"
No, he can't. And I felt I was sorry for Craig yesterday. I obviously know the bloke very well, and he would have hated every second of that. And a large part of talk about the Norman Collier bit. Those announcements are an absolute nightmare. I mean, I got out just at the right time. I think I'd have hated doing those, and we practiced them. But that's exactly the kind of situation you try and explain that to a kind of alien visitor or someone who's not been watching the game. It just doesn't make any sense. And I felt every sympathy for him. But I don't think he had any choice. I think he had to do what he did, as did the VAR.
If you're refereeing that game without VAR, what are you doing, Graham?
I was talking to the ref this morning, actually, and we said if it was on a kind of local park or non-league football where, there's less at stake, I guess, you just give the goal. You just say, like, that's just insane. I was going to give the goal. I remember in one of my early games, a player handled the ball on the goal line. I hadn't crossed the line. I was standing on the goal line because it was very old school in those days. And I just gave the goal. And everyone said, yeah, fair enough, ref. We don't want him sent off. We'd rather, so, it's not what you're supposed to. You can't do that in the Premier League, can you?
One of the... sorry. I was going to say, one of the ideas in your column, I'm not in favour of really bringing in a lot of changes and everything, but your one suggestion actually from other sports really makes sense, that as you can in the NFL, decline the penalty. The team that are awarded the penalty can decline it. And in that case, I think City would have declined it. They would have had the third goal and Liverpool would have had Szoboszlai. And I think that's a reasonable thing to bring in.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I've thought it for quite a long time. I mean, also in this case, the goal is inevitable if there's no foul in the first place by Szoboszlai. So why not have a penalty goal like we have in rugby and indeed other sports? We just give the goal, and then the player probably doesn't commit the foul in the first place. But football has a bit of a superiority complex. Doesn't always learn from other sports, does it? Yeah. And it's maybe should think a bit more laterally.
The only problem with the penalty goal I could see is that, like anything you bring, that's why I say I'm not in favour of bringing in too many, because they'll find a way of there'll be an argument over that. Should it have been a penalty goal? Might he have cleared it? Do you know what I mean? I think the more stuff you have, the more of a problem it is.
In principle, I absolutely agree with you. And I think we've overwritten the laws now to cover every eventuality in some cases, and then yet we still have enormous subjectivity in others. So the handball regulation goes on for feels like it goes on for pages. There's about 30 considerations about what is and isn't handball, and the other things, if a foul, it's just like, well, it's in the opinion of the referee whether it's careless or reckless. Well, define those, So. The whole thing has got into a mess.
Dog shows themselves are very subjective, aren't they? I mean, the one with Gay on Salah, it's a difficult one. I've looked at it quite a few times. You can argue it either way.
I think that, when I first watched it, I know that honestly,
I thought he was
very
bursting
upset.
into the area.
And I thought there was a covering defender. You never know for sure, but that would have felt very tight to have given him a red. I don't know what you thought, Graham.
Yeah, so what people miss in that is on the field, they're extremely difficult. It's obviously a foul. But you've got a few factors. First of all, is it a foul? Well, yes. But then you've got where is it? So you've got making this judgment about whether it's inside or outside the area. In the split second it takes you to judge, it is just outside. You look, your eyes flick left and say, where are the other players? That defender's moved another 5 yards. So you're now taking a pitch thinking, I'm not so sure. He might just be back. He's probably just about a yellow. You go yellow, and then the VAR layers on top of that another subjective judgment of, well, the referee's call's really important here, so I better go with that. And this is really obviously not. And we end up with a yellow card when I think probably a red would have been better. But
really, so you would have given Gay a red? Do you think?
I think if you look at the moment of that foul and the impact of it, I don't think the other defenders are getting across before Salah gets a shot off against a goalkeeper and no one else in between. So that's an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, and Salah's good enough to take it, or certainly at least work the goalkeeper. But it's not absolute stick on. And if you're VAR, you go, well, it's not clear and obvious, so you keep out.
Yeah, they do sometimes. They keep out sometimes, and they don't keep out other times, and that's one of the frustrations. I think
That's because they're human beings.
Exactly. But then why do we need another layer of human error? Let's just stick to what we had.
We could have another layer of human being and have another person.
the two other
VVAR.
The two other things were if that had been at 1-1, that would have been very controversial, wouldn't it? And then probably everyone would have gone that was
so
right.
as long as doesn't get sent off, if that takes place in the 15th minute and he doesn't get sent off, the goal's given. First of all, we have a controversy around that, but then he stays on the field to score the free kick that he did, which then means Liverpool win the game that would have otherwise have lost. The whole thing just plays out differently. We can't, as referees, you can't say, well, it's the last minute, I'll make a completely different judgment. There are times when the time of the game just nudges you one way or the other, but not on something as significant and clear cut as this.
Anyway, next week in the FA Cup, that's a goal.
It is a goal next week in the FA. And this is that thing. It's like having a lovely cold shower, isn't it? When we reach the FA Cup and we don't have VAR there, it just feels like a blessed release. Because as we said, in law, you can't argue with the decision they came to. But in terms of what we witnessed in the game and our kind of incredibly dramatic moment was just sort of chalked off. You feel like you're losing something from the sport we all love.
Yeah, and I've been on your show a few times, Evan. I said in the stadium, it's a night. No one wants that. No one wants that. I just want the game to finish in the way that I did. Man City in the League Cup semi-final a few years ago, and they scored on the break to go 2 goals ahead in the semi-final second leg, and there was a few seconds left on the clock. I just blew the final whistle. There was no way the Bristol City were coming back. No one was bothered. The game was over, and everyone accepted it. But yeah, it's the FA Cup is great until there's a potential giant killing is taken away by a decision that's clearly wrong, and then we want VAR in the FA Cup because the giant killing's been deprived of us. So we wanted this non-league team to beat the Premier League team, and they would have done if only VAR was here to save it. So. As ever, we go around in a circle.
You're right. That's almost certainly going to happen next weekend. So, good stuff, Graham. Really interesting stuff. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Graham Scott, you can read his column in today's Telegraph. Our thanks to him. The latest episode of the talkSPORT Daily podcast is out now with Majestic and former Premier League manager Alan Pardew reviewing all the weekend's action. We know Super Al got stuck into what happened at the end of the Liverpool-City game as well. So if you want to hear more, then the talkSPORT Daily is available on all podcast platforms and the talkSPORT app. We're going to go game by game through the Premier League weekend, and we're going to start with that game. We've dealt with we're going to get Danny's take on it, but we've got plenty of games to get stuck into. And what a week of football we got for you on talkSPORT. Every match across the network from a massive programme, and we'll be running through those. We've even got some football for you tonight. Blades versus Borough this evening. Big game.
Big game for Borough.
talkSPORT 2 certainly is. Mark Wilson.
They go top, I think.
And Neil Redfern will be your commentary team for that one. But, Danny Kelly joins us next.
You don't mean that, man.
Okay, stop
man,
shouting,
let me get the out of here, bro. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Talking about my peoples and all that. It's hard to believe a black man than a white man. The cheated. Tell him to sue me so I can show the facts early. Because when the documentary and everything, the story come out, I'm going to show everything.
Fantastic.
I'm going to get all the people that know and all the people that's in the inside. He got people that in the inside of him. They're going to know. I don't, what? I don't about that.
I'm not a Fury
I don't about it. I said we didn't want to bring him up in the first place. It ain't got to do with him.
Fair enough.
The you talking about?
And with that, he was out of there. How on earth do you reflect on that? What was he going on about?
Well, look, I mean, at the time, I was a little bit embarrassed because I thought the show's coming off the rails and it was a big show and Deontay Wilder's a big name, so I'm sitting there thinking I'm a bit embarrassed by it. Then I thought, he's a bit of a tit. And then I thought, is he on drugs or something, or is this theatrics? And then I just came around to the conclusion that it's not right. He's not well. And all this ayahuasca stuff it's probably worked in reverse. I thought it was supposed to make you calm and zen-like. Listen, I didn't provoke Deontay Wilder by asking him a question that he didn't want to answer. I asked him a question about something he'd said, not something I was trying to engineer into clickbait. He called Tyson Fury a cheat. He's sitting in England. Tyson Fury, in some people's minds, is a legend in boxing. And so you're sitting in England. I thought, not unreasonable. Someone else asked him the question, and he didn't like it. And he can't answer it. So he gets all agitated and upset about it. He turns it into a debate about oppression. I mean, there's loads more that you didn't see. You know, he threatened to punch me in the face and talked about lynching and God knows whatever.
Former Premier League ref Chris Foy has told talkSPORT VAR just did its job in disallowing Cherki's goal during City's win at Anfield.
It sounds boring, it sounds tedious, but they have a job to do.
Well, the review means Szoboszlai misses Liverpool's game at Sunderland live on talkSPORT on Wednesday night, and City's comeback has cut Arsenal's lead from 9 to 6 points. But Martin Keown reckons that's actually better for the Gunners, who keep getting accused of mental weakness.
If they go 9 points clear, then it's theirs to lose again. And we get all of that propaganda that is worked to try and keep this story alive.
Propaganda from who?
Well, that's what I would see it as if I was on the inside. I'm listening, I'm shutting out all the noise.
Elsewhere, we're hearing Sandro Tonali would be up for heading home to Italy. Juventus are keen, along with several Premier League clubs. Meanwhile, Eddie Howe has again insisted he's the right man to take Newcastle forward.
There's no doubt in my mind, and that's why I'm sat here, because, as I said, the club's the most important thing. So I'd never put myself before the club if I didn't think I was the correct man to take the team forward.
And Brendan McCullum's job will be safe if England make the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup. That's according to former England coach David Lloyd. But they'll have to make some serious improvements to make the latter stages. McCullum's boys only scraped past Nepal by 4 runs yesterday.
With a deserved win that takes them level on points with Spurs and Palace.
And then Bruno Fernandes is there to stab it home at the Stretford end and secure all 3 points for Manchester United.
Scott Parker, what are you thinking now? Burnley 0, West Ham 2, and it's come from Valentin Costanelos.
Hat-trick Cole Palmer inside the first 37 minutes of this game. Wolves 1, Chelsea 3.
Fulham 1, Everton 2. This is an embarrassment for the Fulham defence, in particular goalkeeper Bert Leno.
Arsenal 3, Sunderland 0. Victor Gyökeres off the bench at the double.
The left-footed strike at the Gallagher end to break Newcastle's heart. Brentford were brilliant, up to 7th. Newcastle 2, Brentford 3.
That's the boos from the home fans. Brighton have been beaten. Brighton 0, Palace 1. Ismail Assar's the hero.
It's going to be Haaland against Alisson. Talk about a pressure penalty. But he's put this one left-footed into the bottom right corner. Liverpool 1, Manchester City 2.
The title race is not done yet.
Yes, another crazy weekend in the Premier League. Some really interesting results. Here to reflect on all of that and go game by game is Danny Kelly. Good afternoon, Danny.
Good afternoon, Paul. The word reflect doesn't really do it in this Premier League anymore. It's impossible to reflect on something that's like a firework bouncing off the walls of your bathroom while you're trying to have a bit of a shower. It's incredible this year.
Remember those indoor fireworks?
Yes.
I mean, not rockets, obviously, but the indoor firework always struck me as an accident waiting to happen. But anyway, let's move on. We spoke to Graham Scott just now. I don't know if you caught any of that. I mean, he was basically saying he felt maybe Gay could have gone. It could have been a red card. There were so many talking points from that. I mean, especially at the end of the game. It was absolutely crazed, wasn't it? And I said another nail in the coffin for VAR.
Well, look, let's hope that the nails keep coming and that people with a platform, people like you, me, Andy, continue to bash the nails into the coffin as hard as we can, because... there's no point. There's lies, isn't there? We're not going to re-referee the games. They re-refereed that decision. That's exactly what they did. Within you've heard this, within the letter of the law, they probably got that right.
Yeah.
But it affects 3 teams, not just the 2 on the pitch. City lose a goal difference, and who knows, in a season as nutty as this, how important that might be come May. Liverpool have lost their best player this season. Szoboszlai is their best player for 3 games
in a problem position.
One game, I think, Danny.
I think one.
But in a problem position where they're not blessed with a lot of fullbacks, right backs at the moment.
And Brentford, if that goal had stood, would be above Liverpool now in the table.
Yeah,
but they're not.
And also,
so it affected everything.
If Arsenal win the title by 1 goal,
that's
but then
absolutely.
You can't really look at it. But it's so true. VAR has solved nothing. We'd just be arguing about something else instead of VAR.
It's another layer of people making calls, isn't it? It's just. I
read that television like it. I can't understand why they like it. It's not drama. It's not great. People hate it.
Andy, they like it because they're part of the drama. They're providing the pictures that they. Then these people, as I must now learn to call them, so I've got much stronger language, pour over for them. They're part of the drama. TV has become a participant rather than just an observer of the great game. But I don't care whether TV likes it. It's no good for the fans. Bottom line, end of.
Yeah. Right. The trouble is too much time, money, reputational damage from people with massive egos are on the line, which really means even if we march on the castle with lit torches down here, it's not really ultimately going to make a lot of difference.
Well, we might have to burn them out, Paul.
Smoke them out.
No one's really talking about the penalty, which was quite. I mean, he was never getting the ball, Nunes. It was a fair. He took him out.
Yeah, it was a silly dumb challenge. It was a dumb. The other thing is City not doing the business in the first half. We saw it against Tottenham last week. So on top, more than enough chances, more than enough possession, and just basically inviting Liverpool back into the game. It is an issue as the season goes on, which I'm sure Mikel Arteta will be looking at and still fancy his chances.
Foden is an issue as well for England. I mean, he's just not getting a start. Semenyo is Pep's new toy, I think, and that's it. He needed to come on yesterday, I thought.
Yeah.
City appear to have all the parts of a great team without being a great team at the moment. I mean, Donnarumma, one of the saves he made there, when you just think, how does a man of that size contort himself into that position to get the ball away? He is a different kind of goalkeeper, obviously than Ederson. We've discussed the reasons for that in the past, but he's an addition to that team because they concede shots. Unlike City teams of the past, they need a shot stopper.
Let's move on to Brighton 0, Palace 1, and booze, and you're getting sacked in the morning from some of the Brighton fans to Fabian Hürzeler. Maybe the problem he's got, unlike Thomas Frank, the people there watching the games, the people in charge, aren't massively invested in football, whereas Tony Bloom is. I sat near him once up near the director's box at Brighton for a Tottenham game.
After the game.
And he goes nuts. And he's as invested as any fan I've ever seen, which is strange. He wasn't like Daniel Levy that day. He was watching 2 rows in front of me. But But this is the thing. I mean, he's much closer to it and cares much more about what he's seeing on the pitch, which means maybe it's a slightly more perilous position.
Yeah, they've had a pretty good record of appointing managers, but Hustler appears to me to have a problem in that Brighton have got 25 decent Premier League players. He doesn't seem to have any clue who the best 11 are, and so there's a lot of fiddling around with the team. And this, I mean, first of all, let me just say this was an important win for Palace because, for all the obvious reasons, they needed to break their losing run, but because they've also dragged their traditional rivals into the relegation race. Now, let's have a quick word about that. Last season, 26 points would have kept you up. 26 in the Premier League. This season, and I've done I've run the figures. It is not impossible that 40 points won't be enough to keep you up. It's more likely the high 30s will keep you up. But looking at the fixtures of all teams involved, and perhaps with slightly scaredy Spurs pants on.
I wonder why you were doing this.
Yeah. You may very well. I mean, it's not just me. The Leeds manager, Daniel Farke, said we'll probably need 38 or more points to stay up. It's going to be an extraordinary high total this year after extraordinary low total last year. So every win that you get, like Palace did there, and Brighton are a perfect team for Palace to play, unthreatening up front. Palace can play them on the break where they've got a great deal of power. But Brighton's defeat means that they are in it now, whether they like it or not.
It's some drop-off, isn't it? So
they have thrown away so many.
Jonathan Pearce saying that was on Match of the Day 2 last night. You know, you were troubling the top three. I mean, it's some drop-off they've had, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is the problem for a still obviously excellent coach, but inexperienced. He's probably never had to try and throw an anchor over the side of the team to stop what's happening here. I'm not sure when you're plunging downwards that an anchor is actually the right answer, but you know what I mean.
Let's move on to Newcastle 2, Brentford 3. No more booing full time and a manager under pressure. 3 home defeats in 4. Maybe looking a bit mentally and physically weary.
Another brilliant result for Brentford.
Yeah, I mean they keep on coming.
That is Thomas Frank's biggest problem, is how much they've improved under Keith Andrew.
Oh, I don't know, Andy, but I take your point.
One of them.
How long have we got on Thomas Frank's many problems?
But it's not great.
We'd have to go into drive time, wouldn't we?
It makes tomorrow night a real Tottenham Newcastle game. Just a huge 6-pointer tomorrow night, isn't it?
And a very modern game, Paul, because by my count, between suspensions and injuries, you could be missing 19 Premier League professionals from the starting lineups of those two teams.
That is mad.
If ever there was an advertisement where they were playing too much and too intensely, there it is. Newcastle, this was a pretty close game, but Brentford, for a start, they got Gallagher, who I watched him very closely because of his Republic of Ireland jersey, and I wasn't 100% certain that he would make the move from being a reserve and a brilliant reserve at a big club to being the number one. I mean, he just gives the team such a basis of stability. And off they go from there. And, Newcastle, it's Voldemort, isn't it? So it's part of the problem in that just as it was at Stuttgart, where he had an amazing season, they couldn't quite work out if he was a 9 or a 10. The same problem is afflicting the German national side, where he might still end up playing behind Nicholas Füllkrug. Who knows? But Eddie Howe is now trying a number of shuffles to make Voldemort, or to find a space for him. And the press conference afterwards, I really admire Eddie Howe for saying I'd walk away if I wasn't the right person. But that kind of talk is indicative that all is not 100% rosy in that particular border, is it?
The penalty was a bit of an odd one. I'm not even sure it was even going in, was it? I don't know.
There were some of the penalties this weekend, again, you just think, are we really going to give that when a bloke's trying to get his arm out of the way and it hits it? There was what was the word? Careless trip used about one of these penalties here. A phrase I'd never come acroess before. They're now
that was Doherty though, wasn't it? That was a careless.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Sorry, that's the different one, wasn't it? Yeah. These new phrases, they keep us on the back foot by inventing new ways that you have to accept this as a penalty.
4 out of 5 away wins for Brentford. which is pretty impressive, isn't it? They are pushing for Europe now. So
they're in the conference position,
and that's a huge game against Arsenal on Thursday. We got that game for all the games this week on talkSPORT.
Haven't watched a lot of Brentford. I still think Arsenal they're a lot better than Brentford. I think they'll win the game, but we'll see. Utara though, what a game he had, and another great signing with two assists and a goal. Tremendous.
Again, we're seeing it with Somerville, aren't we, at West Ham. Sometimes even the best players, particularly if they're relatively young, they need a couple of months to settle into their new team. Not the Premier League necessarily, but their new team. And Ouattara, he's got a whole lot of stuff going on there, hasn't he? And they are harnessing it brilliantly. And you're right to mention away from home, because with their good goalkeeper, tough defence, they can soak stuff up, and then they it's Thomas Frank plus, isn't it?
Yeah.
They hit you on the break with very, very good and quick and powerful players.
We're going to continue going game by game through the Premier League with Danny Kelly. Just to let you know that we've got 24 live commentaries for you across the talkSPORT network over the coming week. All 10 Premier League midweek matches, live and exclusively on talkSPORT. The best way to listen, in fact, really the only way to listen, is to download the app, because we've got games on all various platforms on talkSPORT, talkSPORT 2. Where else have we got them? On the Talk Radio, we're going to take over. People can phone in and moan about the government halfway through the match. So, hello, Ian. All the games. So download the talkSPORT app and you can swipe between all the games. You won't miss a thing. So, more from Danny in a few moments' time.
Stuart Pearce and Julia Hartless-Brooke.
Yeah, that will be it. Let's do a mashup, shall we? Let's really involve Talk Radio in this. We're here with our good friends at Toolstation. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Toolstation.
There's so many twists and turns in this. When you've been on this road, right? Now, look, there are certain people who were at that game yesterday, former Manchester United players who've won this thing many, many times. I've won it as well. And you have to shut out the noise. It's about what you do, not what the opposition do. And, of course, it would have been handy if it had gone 9 points clear. But the fact that it didn't happen, Arsenal are not derailed by that. I actually saw a lot from Arsenal at the weekend that makes me think, actually, do you know what? They could go the distance. But this is the life. When you're trying to lead, when you're trying to be a prospective champion, Jim, there are twists and turns. You stay calm and you stay confident and you go to the next game. Arsenal play Brentford now. Now, for those people, the neutrals that were, by the way, Sunderland gave everything at the weekend. So nobody was like, it wasn't an easy gimme for Arsenal. Brentford now is another very difficult game for Arsenal.
Of course,
as it would have been if they would have been 9 points clear.
They're all difficult games. We know that. Psychologically, might this be bigger for Manchester City, though, Simon, than it is for Arsenal?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with Arsenal. Arsenal don't need to worry about what Man City are doing. The only time Arsenal need to worry about what Man City is doing is when they're playing them. Arsenal are in control of their own destiny.
You don't think Arsenal players watched that game yesterday at Anfield?
They might do.
Of course they did.
But again, you're asking me what I think, not what they think. What I think is that Arsenal's own...
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're going to be joined by Jack Butler of Traitors fame. He got all the way to the final. QPR fan, personal trainer, popping in to see us a little bit later on. And Will Greenwood reflects on a big weekend of rugby. But Danny Kelly's with us. We're going game by game through the Premier League weekend. We alight on Wolves 1, Chelsea 3. A game dominated by two incredibly daft pens from a Wolves point of view. The second one especially. Why put two hands on a man's back and push him over in the box? I think that's asking for trouble.
Well, Paul, you could argue he pushed him into the box to determine that the penalty would definitely be given. We see footballers doing some pretty strange things. That one was right up there.
Yeah.
And of course, I burst out laughing when I didn't see the game live, so I was watching the highlights. And the game was meandering along. Chelsea were doing their thing against an absolutely anonymous Wolves side. And suddenly he did that. And I remember bursting into laughter. It was great.
Yeah. You second half, the Wolves got back. You were a bit nervous at one point, weren't you?
It's happened in the League Cup, didn't they? They got back into the game and they let them score, and they made it much harder for themselves than they needed to. They didn't get the fourth goal, but in the end, it was pretty routine.
And the good thing from an England point of view is Cole Palmer looking sharper and fitter as each game goes. Are you feeling pretty optimistic about him, Andy?
Yeah,
better.
Sort of. I mean, he's obviously still feeling it because
he didn't finish the game, did he?
And he talks about it all the time. That's because he wants him to play tomorrow night. But,
yeah,
he's got so much about him. So it would be good if he could get fit for England. But
yeah, I mean, it was pretty routine in the end.
Sorry, the important thing about Cole there was not the two penalties because they were, as you say, comedy. It was the confidence, perhaps reinforced by the two excellent penalties. The confidence which he took the third one gives you a hope that he's getting back to the kind of absolutely ice cold. No pun intended, but with his celebration, finishing, which he was doing so well before he got his terrible injury. And I like the way he's coming back. I like the way that he's improving bit by bit. Not just coming back, having one great game, and also he's back, and then you have to go through the whole thing of realising you have to get back to match fitness. They've done it well here, Chelsea. I think they've done it very, very well the way they brought him back in, and they can afford to. They've got good players that are around them, but it's pretty good. And I take Andy's point about Wolves. Wolves were both anonymous and improving. It's an interesting thing they're doing, and Rob Edwards is preparing them for the Championship, and that's the right thing to do.
I don't know about Liam Rosenior, how he's going to do in the future and what will happen to him, but you get the sense definitely the players prefer him to Mariska.
Yeah,
you can feel about the way he's the way they're talking about him, the way they are with him. From that side, I think it's been
4
good.
wins in a row, Andy. One more win, and you have said you will grow your hair. Until Chelsea lose 5 games in a row. So you're fighting nature there, I would imagine. But yeah, I mean, he's doing a cracking job, and as you say, all the players seem very keen to come out. João Pedro and others, and Cole Palmer's been talking about the way he's been around the camp, giving them confidence.
They never did about Maresca.
No, they clearly like the guy.
Yeah, and little bits of Maresca, whatever reason, they just weren't apparently having him, but just one or two things, the way João Pedro is playing slightly narrower, Enzo Fernandez playing slightly further forward, just little tiny tweaks that have improved the team's pressure on the opposition, and he's done that with not very flashily. I like the fact that he doesn't big himself up necessarily. Maybe he will because he's still a very young manager. Definitely an upgrade for now for Chelsea.
Yeah. Fulham 1, Everton 2. A resilient side, Everton. We've had quite a few
Fulham
games.
Be kicking themselves.
Oh yeah, no, they had more than enough chances. But Everton have got a way of staying in games. Sometimes with 10 men and getting a result.
Well, Everton have got a way of staying in games, and there's Jordan Pickford.
Yeah.
Look, David Moyes, and this is no disrespect to Jack Grealish's injury. It suits David that he's got no superstar outfield players. Then he can mould them to his Stakhanovite hard-working will. But behind them, they have got a genuine superstar in Jordan Pickford, who gets better and better and better as the years go by. And, he made several saves there. Now, Fulham, Andy's right, Fulham should have been out of sight by half-time. But some of the finishing, I think, is just the 1% of nervousness caused by knowing you've got to get it past Pickford, who made a couple of fantastic saves. Now, you do nothing about the one that skimmed the crossbar and all the rest of it, but he's so... I'm mentioning a lot of goalkeepers today because I think in a league as chaotic as this one, where lots of shots are going in, the goalkeepers are making a big difference this year. whether it's what Raya has done so noticeably for Arsenal, Donnarumma's improved or had to improve that defence from Manchester City.
Sanchez has improved for Chelsea.
Sanchez has improved as well. It's been a goalkeeper season.
I tell you though, IFAB, they need to look at this. What goes on at corners?
Oh yeah,
for
I was going to say the same thing.
O'Brien is obstructing Leno. He can't move. He can't get to the ball.
It's just
how is that not obstruction? I don't get it.
Say it's gone from a situation where they were in, you couldn't touch them or be anywhere near them a couple of seasons ago, to now squarely punching them in the face and getting away with it.
And if you came out armed, that would only be a yellow card, And the problem here is they did away with the word obstruction, didn't they? There's no obstruction left in the game. And the place where it's most clearly players are being obstructed is the 6-yard box from corners and free kicks. Now, look, the WWE that goes on with all the outfield players is one thing, because very much you can see it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. But the deliberate... impeding of the goalkeeper.
Blocking the keeper. Exactly. For me, it's a foul. I don't get it.
I'm not blaming O'Brien. He's pushing the envelope. That's his job. It's the referee's
and
job.
the goalkeeper. So there's double push there.
It's the last.
And well done to Ken and Dewsbury, and well done to Tyreek George. This time last week, Andy was saying they've got a good one there, Everton. That's good business, and he made a difference. When he came
it's
on.
a classic Chelsea move. If you tell me that Garnacho is better than Tyreek George, I'll tell you you're bonkers.
Yeah.
He's not.
One cost you a lot of money and the other one didn't.
Yep, man.
Anyway, let's just quickly move on to Burnley 0, West Ham 2. It must be even sweeter for the West Ham fans that it was Dr. Tottenham, or Mr. Tottenham, as we all know now, the consultant, who turned their season around, who turned Sancho Somerville, when a bloke was having an all-right season, into Vinny Jr. suddenly. So well done, Spurs.
5 in 5 for him.
Another pat on the back. But yeah, Burnley were abject, but well done to West Ham.
Your point is well made, Paul. West Ham limped into the Tottenham hospital like an old man on their last legs, and they came out doing river dance.
A Lazarus-like recovery.
Look, Somerville and Burnley had 18 shots in this game, but they have nobody to make those shots count. West Ham went out and bought a couple of forwards in the transfer window, getting the best out of Somerville, and so the difference between the two teams in the end was finishing, because Burnley had twice as many shots as West Ham, but were never really, because they can't convert, never really in the game. And we're getting onto all kinds of records now. They're getting into 130 odd years since they last had a run this bad, and it is noticeable. This is the straw that breaks the camel's back, because they could have got within 2 points of West Ham, which is an incredible thought now, because West Ham are roaring, not up the table, but up the points total, and putting ridiculous pressure on those teams directly above them.
It's their biggest game of the season so far when they play United this week. That is a huge
and Mateus Fernandes is behind the Somerville, having cleared out the nuisance back to Brazil. Fernandes is filling all that space, all that mental space, all that physical space, all that football space easily. Fantastic footballer.
Yeah, and it's a very good result for them, and it sets up a very busy midweek programme. But I'm not sure, just very quickly, they're calling him a Scott Parker's head at this stage.
Oh, no point.
You can't. Although, as you said, they would have been 2 points off. That's probably why the Burnley fans were so frustrated that they wasted an opportunity to close the gap.
I know, and all football fans, how they choose to support their team is entirely up to them. They would have seen West Ham as a winnable game. It drifts away from them. I think it's very hard to criticise the Burnley fans for booing, but I was surprised, because really, when you look at the quality of the Premier League this year, and particularly the middle table teams, what were they expecting? Really, what were they expecting? It's always going to be a struggle.
We'll continue going game by game through the Premier League weekend with Danny Kelly. Will Greenwood will join us. Jack from Traitors is popping in, big QPR fan, and we'll be heading to the Northamptonshire village that's gone darts mad. That's all to come.
if we look at the bottom of the table, we're looking at one spot. Do you believe that everybody up to and including Tottenham are in it?
Oh, without doubt. Absolutely. I would even take a step further and say Brighton and Palace will be all right, but I think they need a couple of victories, and the sooner they get them, the better. I thought that was a big result for Palace.
Yeah, Darren, who's a Palace fan, has texted this, and morning, gents. As a Palace fan, I got to say, I really don't think we're in this anymore. Sar's come back from the Cup of Nations. Muniz has come back from injury.
Yes.
We signed a couple of quality players. Darren, I agree with you. I think Palace are safe-ish now.
Aye, that's what I am. Exactly, and that's the word I would use for those two, Brighton and Palace. As I say, brilliant result for Palace for the weekend. Really important. 3 points. Tottenham,
I mean, you would say Tottenham 6 points clear of West Ham. On the face of it, that's a nice cushion. But 4 games ago, there were...
Danny Kelly, shortly Will Greenwood joining us for a rugby chat and a bit of City in the next hour. But Max Scott is here with the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update powered by the Nissan Van range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon. Martin Keown's told talkSPORT a 6-point lead is actually better for Arsenal right now than a 9-point one, as it'll stop people saying the title is theirs to lose. And Mr. Keown says if Spurs want to change the culture at their club, stop playing Christian Romero.
Now, I know it's a big commodity and it's a gamble, but it's a change of direction and a change of culture, because I would say if you see this on the outside, on the inside, it's even worse. On the inside, his behaviour around the players is not good for the next generation.
Captain Romero's serving a 3-match ban. He was sent off 6 days after complaining Spurs don't have enough players. Now, despite the PGMOL and former referees generally backing the decision to disallow City's third goal at Anfield, Neil Warnock called in to have his say.
I remember Bill Shankly saying, they know the laws, but they don't know the game. And nothing has changed in all them years. They know the rules, they know it inside out, they know what should be happening, they know this, but they haven't got any idea about common sense.
Former Premier League ref Graham Scott told us what could be done to prevent this scenario happening again.
In this case, the goal is inevitable if there's no foul in the first place by Szoboszlai. So why not have a penalty goal like we have in rugby and indeed other sports? We just give the goal and then the player probably doesn't commit the foul in the first place.
Now, talkSPORT understands Sandro Tonali would be up for heading home to Italy. Juventus are keen, as well as a host of Premier League clubs. Meanwhile, Eddie Howe's again insisted he is the right man to take Newcastle forward.
There's no doubt in my mind, and that's why I'm sat here, because, as I said, the club's the most important thing. So I'd never put myself before the club if I didn't think I was the correct man to take the team forward and I could give the players what they need.
They take on Spurs tomorrow night live on talkSPORT 2.
talkSPORT News.
Police are assessing claims that former Prince Andrew sent confidential information to Jeffrey Epstein, and Downing Street says the Prime Minister is concentrating on the job at hand and won't be resigning. More with the news team at 5:30.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Rain or shine, our mobile tyre fitting service comes to you, so you can stay on the sofa this winter. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Mostly cloudy with some brighter spells possible. Heavy rain and strong winds pushing into the southwest with a risk of flooding.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Will Greenwood joining us. Jack from Traitors as well, talking a bit of QPR popping into the studio, but we are going game by game through the Premier League weekend. And we have reached Arsenal 3, Sunderland 0. Another solid performance by Arsenal. And
it was 0-0 for quite a long time in the game, though. So
I had a bit of frustration, but once they got the first, you kind of felt that was it. Yorkerez among the goals.
Yeah, much more like it from him there.
Yeah, Danny, what did you make of it all?
Well, Gyökeres is an interesting one, isn't he? Because he's almost bringing, and I'm not trying to be funny here. You might say I've never tried to be funny. He's bringing a new word, means the word finisher, because they're kind of using him in this game. Like when you see those TV dramas where the police are raiding a crack den, they're using as one of those battering rams that they go through the door with, aren't they?
Police.
All the communication from outside, all the walkie-talkies, all the loudhailers hasn't worked, so somebody has to get out the battering ram, and here comes Victor, and he's doing it very, very well indeed. Again, this was in some ways a very frightening result for people like Manchester City who are hoping to challenge Arsenal. Think about the assists. Trossard, Havertz and Martinelli. Not one of those would be in their starting 11 if everybody was fit and available. And they are the players who are driving this incredibly deep squad towards the title. Also noticeable that just like so many of the champions over the years, what you do in your own backyard is critical. I think it's almost gone unnoticed that they've got the most points at home now, Arsenal. They've conceded the fewest goals. And victories like this, I was struggling to find things to say about it. Sunderland are a good, well-organised, feisty team. And yet Arsenal, 3-0, it looks like once they got going, they've sort of pounded them into the ground. I understand why people want to go say, and the title race is still on. And I want to say it too. But if anyone does catch Arsenal, it's going to take some doing, isn't it?
Yeah, I've written the best all-round team in the League One again, and we saw last night with Seattle in the Super Bowl. Defences win championships, and they've got the best defence. You saw in midweek against Chelsea. Chelsea gave it everything, and they just couldn't break them down.
But not just the team, the backing that the manager has had, to build this depth of squad that you can be without Saka and Odegaard. And you can have players like Eze on the bench, Nketiah on the bench, Martinelli, York, and then make it. The depth of the squad is just untouchable.
It's taken time to build that.
Yeah, it has, but they've backed them, and they pay the wages, and they've built this squad, and they deserve. Look, I'll say it now: they absolutely deserve to win it. They've been the best team.
Oh, clearly.
Paul, you'll have to avoid one end of the Seven Sisters Road now.
Well, you can't argue. We can't argue.
I agree.
They should be a blueprint for a lot of teams in and around them that wuss out on doing what they're doing at the moment. They're serious.
The last day of the summer transfer window, Nketiah was there for anybody to come and get. They already had tremendous strength at left centre back and left full back. And they went and got him. I remember when that went through, I bit my lip because I thought, what on earth are people going to do? Because last year I thought Liverpool were brilliant last year, but I think Arsenal would have taken them very, very close, except for a rash of horrible injuries. They've made sure that is whatever else happens, it won't be injuries that stop them this year.
Bournemouth 1, Villa 1. We move on to. And Rayan, unearthed another. They spent 30 million quid on him. He didn't cost.
He'd be worth about 100 by the time they finished.
But another gem. It's Antoine isn't it? Really,
lovely goal.
It's nuts, isn't it? I did the maths last night. In the last two transfer windows, Bournemouth have sold £250 million worth of footballers, and yet they should have won this game. They had 20 shots at goal against the Villa team. Everyone thinks are pretty good. They've got Martinelli, keep on that goalkeeping theme, to help them out. But he looks fantastic. And if you take Rayan and you take the boy that Spurs brought on at left back, 17-year-old Sousa, when they were in trouble at Old Trafford, look, Brazil are not the Brazil of my boyhood, where they played the most flamboyant and successful football in the world, but they are still an extraordinary country for turning out professional footballers. And I bet if you counted the number of Brazilians making a living at a high level across European football, there are probably more than there are Englishmen, and that's including the Premier League. It's incredible.
I do think that Villa they'll definitely make top 5, but they need to watch themselves a little bit. The teams behind them are catching up, and their goal difference is so much worse. They don't score a lot of goals.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Unai Emery, he knows his own players and he knows his own team. And when he said we've got no chance of winning the league, everybody said, "Oh, he's just saying that."
No, he was right.
He probably saw this coming. He knew they couldn't maintain the intensity with the squad they have. And he's been proved right, I guess.
Yes, that's right. And the goal difference thing is because they hobbled themselves with the start to the season, but they didn't score at all for about a month, if I recall correctly. they've only taken they've taken 8 points in the last 21 available to them. So they are returning to the median, if you like, and the median is a very good team with Morgan Rogers in the form of his life. I loved his finish. That almost, it would have killed a spectator if it had gone through the net. Absolutely fantastic. But they will fight for fourth or fifth, is my guess, and that's partially because, and we'll talk about them next, no doubt, because Michael Carrick has. No doubt the chagrin of some people set free the spirit and the players of Manchester United.
Maybe they couldn't have changed it from the bench, because Graham Nicholas in The Sun said today Villa's shooting was wayward, including the Aston Villa sub who knocked a cup of tea out of my hands just as I was making my way back to the press box and getting tea all over me at half-time. So they couldn't change it from the bench. Come on then, if we have to. Manchester United 2, Spurs 0, the great Christian Romero debate. I mean, another idiot red card. We've had so many of them. I wouldn't say it's his worst. The worst one, I think I saw him in a Tottenham shirt have one, was the Milan one in the Champions League, which is the king of the idiot red. But this is right up there. Why is he always kicking Brazilians? I don't know. It's like a magnet to him, isn't it?
Christian is preparing for the World Cup months out. If he can
keep
level
himself
a couple of these.
Yeah.
If he can keep, I don't know, if he can level a couple of these Brazilian players who will be in the squad ahead of time, he probably thinks it's a good investment. Look, Paul, you'll no doubt be listening later on to the View from the Lane, the podcast I do about Spurs, where people who don't support Spurs are suggesting they should get rid of him.
Yeah,
I'm not in that camp at all.
Oh, he should. He should be. He's got Atletico Madrid written all over him. It's basically.
I think whatever happens, he's going at the end of the season.
He needs to go. You can't have that.
Well, why did he sign a contract? A few months ago then. I suspect he's unhappy about a lot of things at the club, but then the club is being allowed to drift.
Sure.
And the players don't get the manager. The fans definitely don't get him. The new board seem powerless to do anything about it. He's the most powerful figure at the club. Look, what he did was idiotic, Paul. You're absolutely right. It was idiotic. And I do also think that the referees are looking out for him, And
I've written that. Reputation precedes him.
But you can't. I mean, really, it's very hard to argue that wasn't a red.
No, but Michael Oliver was having a really weird day as well. I mean, he booked João Palhinha for a perfectly legitimate tackle. And then we talk about the wrestling that goes on from dead balls in open play. Lisandro Martinez. Rugby thought the Six Nations has started, takes Solanke down in the 6-yard box. They didn't even review it. It was a weird game for the officials. I'm not saying that Christian Romero didn't deserve to go. Of course he did. And not least because he knows better, because he's been through this before. But Manchester United, it may not have made any difference. The game was pretty even up to it, but they are playing so well now.
They've got better players than Tottenham as well, so... I think something that Thomas Frank hasn't addressed, and it's been going on for weeks, the number of shots Spurs give up from the edge of the area. I mean, you saw that in the highlights as well.
We've had so many goals against us where they don't close players down at the edge of the box. They tend not to have. I'm sure that Xavi Simons was fine for having Tottenham's best chance from distance. I know he doesn't like them shooting from distance because he sees it as giving up the ball. I mean, this thing about relegation, I was talking to Benty the other day, and one or two other people here, they're saying, you'll be fine. One or two of our Spurs fans here saying...
Who does Darren support?
But you've got to look at their points per game that they've taken so far, and if they average that for the rest of the season, they won't go down.
Okay,
but Andy, that points per game is going down.
Yeah. And what's left of this injury-ravaged squad? Look at some of the personnel. There's a few players in there who are probably going to be going at the end of the season because they've had enough. They want to move on, in their eyes, to bigger and better things. There's players who've never experienced a dogfight. They're fancy Dans who've always worked at the top tier of whatever table they've played in. And Conor Gallagher, there's a few characters in there. Paulinho that'll roll their sleeves up. I'm not sure there's enough. That's why I think tomorrow night is key. If Tottenham lose that tomorrow night, they are properly in it, Danny. They have to win that game against Newcastle.
It's a very winnable game, and Newcastle are terrible.
Well, I mean, have you seen Tottenham at home this season?
No, I know.
They still have to play nearly all the teams who are in and around them in the bottom of the table. Unfortunately, 4 of those fixtures are at White Hart Lane, where they can't get a result.
Yep.
And if they go behind against Nottingham Forest or Crystal Palace, for instance, then you're going to hear that same mixture of anger and frustration and hilarity that I'm getting from the crowd there. In fact, 2 of those critical games at the bottom of the table come exactly at the round of 16 in the Champions League. And my colleague, the Athletic Jack Pitt-Brook, made the crack. They'll be the first ever team to play the kids in the Champions League.
Just very quick one on Leeds Forest. A really weird night for Forest. Well done to Leeds. They needed to bounce back after that Arsenal defeat at home. Dominic Calvert-Lewin for England. That's what the fans were singing. He's the top scorer amongst the English strikers. Has he got a chance, Danny?
Yes, he has a chance because the jostle behind Harry Kane is so featureless. You know, you could equally say that another Dominic, if Solanke keeps fit and has a decent run in, he gives them another opportunity. I don't envy Thomas Tuchel with this because whoever you pick knows they're not going to play, but they've got to bring a reserve striker. My advice to Thomas Tuchel would be to take somebody completely different from Harry Kane, so that at least you have a plan B.
Yeah.
Just trying to find somebody who's Harry Kane light is impossible.
Danny, always a pleasure. We'll catch up with you next week.
Indeed we will. Cheers. Cheers for now.
Danny's
Bye.
partner in crime on Trans Europe Express, Andy Brassel, joining us for a little jaunt round Europe later on. But Will Greenwood joins us next. We had the start of the Six Nations and some interesting results. Will's going to join us for England World Cup winner, and also big Manchester City fan. So he is up next. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Gear up for those darker nights with electrical and lighting offers. Next stop, Tool Station.
I'm all for the hard yards, and I don't think getting rid of Aubameyang was the same comparison because Arsenal didn't miss him and didn't lose anything as a result.
They did. That season he went to Barcelona and scored a hatful of goals. They made the Champions League. Arsenal didn't win the Champions League, but their future was to be a better one.
Everybody knew
there has to be a sacrifice
here. Everybody sat in the studio, and me and Jim being included, forecast that Aubameyang would lift the leg when he went to Barcelona. We all knew it because he'd go and do it in Spurs. What he was doing was creating a polluted environment inside the dressing room that was relatively solidified in certain ways of a new manager.
Impressionable young players.
This is a different dressing room. Now, I don't disagree. The harder yards are that you take control of a situation. So let's get it right. Arteta was being supported by his board. He was supported by his board in the Aubameyang decision. You've got a group of people that didn't employ Thomas Frank, that are not entirely sure about Thomas Frank's future. So he's going to go to them and say, the player that you just signed a 4-year contract on, that we've made captain, I'm going to jettison him.
You're suggesting that, son. You wholeheartedly, they gave Thomas Frank the job.
No, they didn't.
Well, why not? How are you saying this? Do you have inside information that we don't have then?
Yes, I do. Because Daniel Levy and self-evident information.
He's not there anymore, is he? So what's he going to do?
So my point is, don't be so bloody stupid then. Daniel Levy's not there, and neither is Paratici. They were the two.
So he's exposed now because he's gone.
Yes, I do. I think he's absolutely got no allies there.
Well, maybe he's better off without him.
Well, that's a different argument.
Because maybe that person was also.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How did you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Big Six Rugby Review on talkSPORT with the iconic Peugeot 3008 Fastback SUV. The road is your field.
It's time to look back on the opening weekend of the Six Nations. It actually started on Thursday with Peugeot. Joining us now, England World Cup winner and Manchester City fan. We can't avoid that conversation after yesterday. Will Greenwood joins us. Hi, Will.
How are you? Unbelievable, Sis. We haven't scored a goal in the second half for about 6 weeks. we go 1-0 down to a free goal, and I just go, it's going to be Sunderland again. It's going to be Tottenham again. It's going to be Brighton again. So I don't normally drink on a Sunday night. Straight down the pub.
Oh, really? Just you were shaking. You just needed to calm down a bit.
Well, yeah, I know we've had some good times at City. And England rugby are having some good times at the moment. But if you go through the dark times when you were in the old Division 2, those times make days like yesterday even more special.
I think everybody wanted, apart from Liverpool fans, wanted City to win to keep it.
To keep the battle alive in the Premier League. But we'll see how it all pans out. It was quite a painful watch, England-Wales. I watched the game, Will. I mean, you're a professional sportsman and ruthless, I'm sure, but we were saying the other day to Ben Kay, your old teammate, you need a strong Wales, and they're just miles off it at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah. Off the field, turmoil, many people after the board, unsure whether they go from 4 teams to 3 teams. Some of the older players, more ruthless ones, say rip the plaster now and go 4 teams to 2, go the old West v East, try and recreate that rivalry and hopefully find a way back. Their under-20s nearly beat England under-20s, so there's some signs that they've got some kids coming through. But it's a pretty miserable time to be a Wales rugby fan. The lads on the field, you'd never... It's tough on the issue, soft on the person. The lads on the field, even though they made some daft mistakes, are doing their best, right? They're turning up, but it was a good little and getting battered by a very good big one on Saturday. And it just sort of took the edge slightly off the game. And to agree with Ben Kay, if we want to take on South Africa, New Zealand in World Cups, then we need the strongest possible Six Nations. And that might occasionally mean losing to Wales and losing to the Celts like we used to do. But in the short term, I don't have the answers for Wales rugby. I wish them all the very best. In the meantime, just hoping England don't suffer for not having a competitive fixture before finding themselves in a very competitive fixture up in Murrayfield.
Yeah, it's a bit of a banana skin, isn't it? Scotland have always raised their game against England in any sport.
They're coming off the back of a really... We should just pay tribute to England, who were, as we still using that word again, they were ruthless. It was a really professional performance. A few of the boys there would have got a lot of confidence. Henry Arundel amongst them, I'm sure. So, look, there's some good things going into Scotland.
Yeah, great. I mean, look, the power of the pack, the set piece, Chesham and Coles, absolutely outstanding. The scrum, the line out, world-class set piece. You've got a number 10 at the moment who's walking around like, who was the great Italian? Pirlo in the midfield. Just owning the pitch, spraying passes, in this case, spraying kicks and just dominating territory. And outside him, he's got some serious firepower. So, no, England are decent at the moment. And these Six Nations always look like jostling for positions, England and France, to find themselves in a chart with an opportunity to fight out a Grand Slam decider on the very last game of the Championship at 8 o'clock on March the 14th.
People were impressed by France, weren't they, against Ireland?
Oh.
Yeah, they were really good. They kind of set the benchmark on Thursday night. I mean, from a Scotland point of view, though, we did say to Ben the other day that it was a potential banana skin and the conditions didn't help, and all the stuff going on with Gregor Townsend, the coach, in the background. It was a bad result, wasn't it, for Scotland in Italy?
Yeah, brilliant result for Italy. I mean, I know, just to acknowledge those guys. I lived first 6 years of my life in Italy. I've had a load of notes from friends in Rome, where my dad was perhaps too much embellishment to say he was the king of rugby in Rome in the 70s. Right. But he was over there with Lazio and Roma. I grew up at Stadio Flaminio. He was one of the early pioneers to go over to Italy as an England player, as an international. Others like Andy Hayden and others would follow, Campesi and Liner later on in the 80s. But in the 70s, a few players took a chance and went over there and got it all going. And to see Italy come so far over the last 10, 15 years from being sort of wanting to be hounded out of the tournament when they didn't win a game, I think, for 6 years, to suddenly win 4 of their last 8. They took their chances well in the first 10, 15 minutes. They identified the weakness of the Scottish back three in terms of their defensive capabilities, as they hadn't yet settled, racked up 12 points. Then Noah needed to build an arc to play in the second half. It was so wet and it was so difficult to play catch-up rugby. Scotland didn't help themselves. They made some daft errors, some daft decisions, some big mistakes, but they gave themselves so much to do. And, England in 2000 lost a Grand Slam up there in Scotland when we tried to play an all-court game like Scotland wanted to do. And it was an absolute swimming pool. We got beat 19-13. Duncan Hodge, my old university mate, crept over for the longest range try he'd ever scored in his life, which is about 6 inches. And we had to pick up a trophy having just been beaten. It was a horrible experience. So Scotland have had their horrible experience. They'll now be identifying England's weaknesses. They'll realise that they've won 4 of the last 5 or something like that in the Calcutta Cup. So I'm heading up there. Should be a great day.
You're right to sort of point out what a great result it was for Italy as well, because it wasn't that long ago everybody was having these conversations about whether Argentina should be brought into the Six Nations. What are the alternatives? Italy, get the wooden spoon, they're the whipping boys every time. But that has changed in a relatively short space of time, hasn't it?
Yeah, Quesada's outstanding coach. He's an Argentine, ex-fly half for Argentina. Got a great coaching staff. I can't remember his name. The Kiwi coach who coached Italy last. I liked him as well. They've had a collection of decent fellas running it and building incrementally and adding to it. And I think in the old days, you'd identify any Italian player with the number 1 to 5 on their back. We're okay bending over and pushing and jumping in a line out, totally set piece. But the second the game started and you needed to defend and attack and pass and catch and tackle, they couldn't pull those skills off. So now Italian forwards have that ability to bring so much to the game. Collectively, from 1 to 15, they're super strong. They got a couple of wingers who can fly. They got a midfield who would back themselves against any midfield in the world. That's Brex and Menoncello. And they've got a back row that's scrap and fight for every loose ball or second touch going. So, yeah, they're adding, and they're over the moon. Obviously, they want to build on that. They've got some tough fixtures coming up in the Six Nations, but to start like that is a magnificent achievement.
Kieran Crowley, I looked him up for you.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
And you've got your rugby podcast, Will, as well, haven't you, at the moment?
Yeah. I've got a mate of mine called Campo, not the amazing Australian Campo, my little friend from Marlow. And we've been doing Rugby Mates. We set it about 3 or 4 years ago. We've got about 400,000 followers. We get loads of views on the weekend. We're instant reaction. We film our podcast in a pizzeria on a Sunday night, which we did last night. We have a couple of beers, eat a couple of pizzas, talk about rugby, just a couple of mates who love it, invite people along, and then get the content out early on a Monday, and then drip feed reaction to selections and matches before and post game. So it's a side hustle, a little bit of fun, just adding to the arena of great content that's out there, like your show.
Good stuff. Thank you, Will. Hopefully we'll catch up with you later in the Six Nations. All the best.
Cheers.
Take care, boys.
There's Will Greenwood, the England World Cup winner, reflecting on the Six Nations weekend with their good friends at Peugeot. We'll be having regular conversations, of course, in the lead up, and to review all the Six Nations matches. But we're going to be joined by Jack Butler of Traitors fame. He got all the way to the final. He's also a big QPR fan. He'll join us in the studio shortly.
Big Six Rugby Review on talkSPORT with the stunning Peugeot 3008 Fastback SUV. Book a test drive now at Peugeot.co.uk.
Dave from Sutton says, City goal should have stood. I hate how ex-refs say rules are rules, ruining the game. VAR can bore off. Charlie from Derby, thank God it was the third goal and not the second, because City would have lost 2 points. Another one here saying, the ref has to take the emotion out of it and disallow the goal. Isn't football all about emotion? Without emotion, what would the point be in anybody watching at all? And so on, and so on, and so on. So many people are furious with it all. And maybe our next caller, I'm not sure, about to find out, because Neil Warnock has called up. Morning, Neil.
Good morning, Neil.
Good morning, lads. Yeah, I had to do that, yeah.
Go, come on then, what did you make of it?
Well, the thing is, I go back to when I was a young kid, me. My dad refereed, he was a top referee, a Class 1 one, but he would never get to the top because he didn't sell enough raffle tickets for him and these dinners and things. he just refereed how he should do by using common sense, so he never got on. And I remember Bill Shankly saying, they know the laws, but they don't know the game. Yeah. And nothing has changed in all them years. I listened to Chris, and Chris is a lovely bloke, but he's one of them. They know the rules, they know it inside out, they know what should be happening, they know this, but they haven't got any idea about common sense. And they all think if we don't give this, then we'll lose some marks and we'll...
Former Premier League ref Chris Foy has told talkSPORT VAR just did its job in disallowing Cherki's goal during City's win at Anfield.
It sounds boring, it sounds tedious, but they have a job to do.
Well, the review means Szoboszlai misses Liverpool's game at Sunderland live on talkSPORT on Wednesday night, and City's comeback has cut Arsenal's lead from 9 to 6 points. But Martin Keown reckons that's actually better for the Gunners, who keep getting accused of mental weakness.
If they go 9 points clear, then it's theirs to lose again. And we get all of that propaganda that is worked to try and keep this story alive.
Propaganda from who?
Well, that's what I would see it as if I was on the inside. I'm listening, I'm shutting out all the noise.
Elsewhere, we're hearing Sandro Tonali would be up for heading home to Italy. Juventus are keen, along with several Premier League clubs. Meanwhile, Eddie Howe has again insisted he's the right man to take Newcastle forward.
There's no doubt in my mind, and that's why I'm sat here, because, as I said, the club's the most important thing. So I'd never put myself before the club if I didn't think I was the correct man to take the team forward.
And Brendan McCullum's job will be safe if England make the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup. That's according to former England coach David Lloyd. But they'll have to make some serious improvements to make the latter stages. McCullum's boys only scraped past Nepal by 4 runs yesterday.
Yes, we're going to reflect on the last series of the Traitors now and chat to the man who made it all the way to the final, then got stiffed by the Traitors. He's a QPR fan, so he's used to disappointment. I'm sorry, Jack. I'm sorry, Jack.
It's true.
Jack Butler is Jono. Jack, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. I'm very good. How are you?
Yeah, good. How has life changed since you came out? It makes it sound like you're in jail, but you know what I mean. But how, has it been sort of a weird time for you? Now everybody in the street recognises you and they didn't before.
Do you know what it is? I've got to say it's been like overwhelmingly positive. Like everyone is so nice, so friendly, and I think as well it's just fun, you know. It's just like making the most of it, because I think the hype for the show is huge for a few months and then it kind of fizzles out. But it's just been lovely, like interacting with the fans and doing selfies. And I went out with Stephen yesterday in London,
right?
And it was just chaos.
Was he jumpsuited up?
It was. Oh yeah, he had the big flared collar, flared trousers. I mean, yeah, he always looks the part. Yeah. We just, oh goodness me, we ended up being asked to leave the Apple store because so many people queued to get selfies with him and with us that it just blocked the entrance of the shop.
Wow, It's. I mean, it's good that you've made up, because we understand, and we've heard reports, and you can put us right, that in the immediate aftermath, you were very upset that you had been stiffed by the pair of them.
Do you know what? No, I to be fair, I tried to set the record straight. I think there was an interview I did where they asked me what happens when you go, and I said, oh well, you know, the producers they take you into a room and they congratulate you, and then you sort of sit in the chair, you open a scroll, and you react to who the traitors are. But at that point, I'd obviously already figured out who the traitors were. So I sort of opened it and went, oh, Stephen and Rachel, wow.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously I was miffed. I was really disappointed I didn't suspect them sooner. And, you know, you start questioning all this. But, you know, we've always been really good friends. And I think within 5 minutes, I thought, it's just a game, you know, and they played the game really, really well.
Yeah.
And
they did well not to stitch each other up.
Oh, yeah, Stephen, I mean, he could have taken the 95 grand.
He could.
He could have easily gone Rachel and then told me he was a traitor and mugged us both off at the end. But it's a testament to his character that he chose to only take half the money, and I think it was better to send me off the way they did.
I wonder what it says about when you come. Oh no, when you finish the show.
Yeah,
I've got to stop saying when you come out.
Start
off parole. Yeah, but when you finish. So, but obviously you were incredibly trusting. You never saw Stephen, did you, at all? He was like your mate, and you couldn't for 1 minute see that he was a traitor.
I think a big thing is, and I've learnt this after, you know, talking to a lot of the other cast as well. The biggest thing at play when you're actually in there in the castle is confirmation bias. So, like, in my head, the first day, you know, you sort of have an idea in your mind of who the traitors are and who the faithfuls are. And Stephen, to me, just acted like, well, he was acting exactly the same as me. And I knew I was a scared faithful. I knew that there was the fear of being murdered and that constant stress in your mind. And he sort of mirrored how I was acting. And in my head, I thought, he's got to be one as well. And everything he did just confirmed to me that he was a faithful. And unfortunately, it was only in that final episode when he flipped the board a little too late that I realised that he was a traitor. But what a fantastic game they both played, though. Yeah. I genuinely mean it. I really think they both deserved it. As much as I wanted to win with Faraz, I don't think it would have been right if we'd had it at the end. I think they both deserved it, you know.
Interesting. Yeah, it's become a currency, though, the whole faithful traitors. There's a piece about Brooklyn Beckham this morning, and they're saying he's blocked all his friends, he's blocked the traitors, and all the ones he's kept are faithful.
Oh, right, yeah. It is part of the vernacular now. I remember we spoke to one of the previous winners. I can't remember. We spoke to one of the previous winners of the show, never watched the show, and he felt that gave him an advantage when he went in because he wasn't kind of playing. Yeah, never actually watched the show. But when, I mean, it seems quite odd. But he must have known roughly what he was letting himself in for. But you're obviously a fan of the show.
Yeah, massive fan. I mean, actually, to be perfectly honest, I went back and I pretty much studied. I tried to find patterns and things to look at. I rewatched all the UK ones, the US ones, Australian ones, because I kind of wanted to find. So, for example, a really big thing is if you're faithful early on. If you speak up too much, I always saw that the most vocal ones get voted out almost every single season. I deliberately sat back and was a little quieter for the first half of the show, knowing that it's better to be more vocal when there's less players, because ultimately it's just easier for you to slip up when you're saying.
That's what Cat Burns did, didn't she?
Yeah. Slipped under the radar. You're right.
You've got a personal training business, and I wondered in one of the talks, I think one of the last ones, you were properly blowing. I wonder if was it bad for business?
Oh my God, my clients were ripping me to shreds. They said, "Call yourself a PT, can't run up a hill." I was getting roasted.
Stephen was helping you, wasn't he?
I was tagging behind him. You know what? Oh God, that mission. We were going up and down that hill with those bags of golden rocks on our back. And by the third one, I said to him, mate, I'm going to have to walk it. Yeah. He was like, come on. I was like, I can't. It's bad, isn't it?
Wow. And you are QPR fan?
Yes, unfortunately.
Do you get to the games? What is it? Is it sort of
12th, aren't they?
Is it a bit of sort of?
Yes, I believe. Yeah.
What is that, geography that made you QPR or family or?
Do you know what? No, Dad. He took me to the games when I was a young lad, and he tried his best to sort of force me to know. You know what? I'll always stay loyal to him. We went to the games ever since I was young, and then as I sort of became a teenager, through the years when we kind of had them brief stints in the Premier League, kind of yo-yoing up and down. I had a season ticket and we went for a good sort of 3 or 4 years. But now, unfortunately, just because of work commitments, I go to a few games a season. But still an avid supporter. I'll always watch the games and check the scores and that. Yeah.
There are 6 teams that are just 3 points behind.
Is there away? Away from home, they just can't get it right at the moment. QPR, can they? That's been they drew at the weekend, didn't they, with Charlton and stuff. That might be the issue with it.
It's funny, isn't it? I mean, I always say to Dad, we're a funny old club, QPR. Like, we'll go on a bad run and then we beat Coventry. Yeah, I mean, the exact same thing happened a few seasons ago under Marty Cifuentes. Like, we had, I think it was maybe 5 or 6 games we lost, and we played Leeds, who were top of the table away. And I said to Dad, I bet you will beat them, and we did. We're strange. It's just inconsistency. On our day, we can be a really good team. I just think it's the consistency that's the real bit.
Now, Faraz has already been in. He came in with Max and Charlie a couple of weeks back on a Wednesday, and because he's a big Borough fan, and he's also club cricketer, isn't he? He plays up in the north.
Yes.
So, I mean, there was no sport chat on the show. I watched the series. No sport chat. But, I mean, I'm sure that the sport never made the edit. Was there? Who were the other football fans? Where did the sport chat come from in the house?
Do you know what? Come to think of it,
sorry.
I can't even think of anyone even. I think everyone's so hyper fixated on the game.
Yeah.
And like when you're on camera, like all we're talking about is theories and suspicions. There was very little small talk. Maybe on the cars on the way to the castle, we had a brief. Like I chatted with Faz a bit about footy and boxing as well. We're both boxing fans. But other than that, I mean, everyone's just like 24/7. You're blooming dreaming about it. Like you go back to the hotel, you're just laying in bed thinking about your theories about who the traitors are. It's just. It almost becomes like your world, like your life. You're so consumed by it when you're there for so long,
Yeah.
For anyone who would enjoy doing it, would like to be on the show, what is the selection process and how difficult is it to get on?
Truth be told, I mean, I think it was about 4.5 months of... I applied in January 2025. I got a call about a week later and they said, we're potentially interested. Can you do the phone call? And then I was invited to a Zoom call and then a group Zoom call and then you speak to a producer. Then you get invited to face-to-face auditions, and it was just non-stop, like what they call elimination stages.
Yeah.
Hundreds. I didn't realise that. I think it was over 350,000 people or something like that applied.
Really?
I believe so. I think it was something like that. Nearly 400,000 people.
And how long is the filming process? How long are you in the sort of bubble?
So I was there for just shy of a month, about 3.5 weeks.
Right.
Wow.
And your phone's taken on day one. So you had no contact to the outside world. So I couldn't speak to my fiance or my family. That's the hardest part, I think. When it's getting stressful, you feel isolated.
Yeah.
Like there's no one to turn to and moan about your day to, sort of thing,
And that's odd because it's all in the bank, isn't it? It's all been filmed at that point by the time it goes out. So it's not as if it's live. So finally, it's not like folks say, you're not coming across well, you should be doing this, that or the other.
Yeah.
They can't influence the show, can they?
No, I mean, it was all last summer it was filmed. And I think that's a weird thing as well, isn't it? Because obviously all those emotions we experienced, me losing in the final, as I say, the frustration was 5 minutes afterwards and it was all blown over and we're all friends. But for my family who knew nothing, it's very raw for them. They've experienced me losing in the final episode only a few weeks ago, so they were upset and I was a bit, it's fine. You know what I mean?
And so has it been good for business? Are you picking up more clients, other things, other doors open for you from doing it?
Yeah, it's been good. I think I've just sort of started online training. I was a bit sort of begrudged to start it because I'm very old-fashioned. I like the face-to-face style in a gym. And all my trainer friends are like, come on, you've got to start your website, do it online. So I launched my website and I'm just starting to branch out. I've had lots of people. The problem is, I get maybe 50 emails and 1 or 2 of them genuinely want to train. The other
they just want to ask you about the show.
What was it like off camera? And did you want to be a traitor? They're just asking about the show, you know?
Yeah. So tell us, where's your website? You're on Instagram as well, aren't you?
Yes. So it's www.thefitnessbutler.com and Instagram is Jack_thefitnessbutler. And as much as my recent posts have all been very Traitors dominated, I will start going back to my old fitness and nutrition tip videos.
It's hill running. That's going to be a big part of it.
That's what
with a sack of gold on your back.
That's it.
Lovely. Nice one. Good to meet you, Jack.
Oh yeah, lovely.
Well done. It was a very, very entertaining series.
Thank you so
good
much.
to see you.
Thank you.
Jack Butler there, the Traitors finalist. Still to come. We're going to head to the village up in Northamptonshire that has gone darts crazy. We'll tell you more about that. Andy Brassel guiding us around Europe. We'll talk a bit of Super Bowl as well. We're here with Toolstation. Get winter ready with heating and insulation essentials. Next stop, Toolstation.
These players sometimes have got too much of it. They live in an environment where they're constantly told how wonderful they are. They're constantly provided for and supported, and you have to do that because it's a difficult game at times to play at elite levels. And don't put all the rewards to one side. But unless you start confronting people with their shortcomings as well as their positives, you will not build character, you will not build resilience, you will not build leaders, and you will not build people that actually make a team.
But Van Dijk says, Sammy, when you're getting bullied after a disappointing performance or receiving bad criticism, it's hard for the younger stars to ignore.
But
Jim, you dish it out, to be fair to you. You can dish it out.
We're talking about former...
Do you ever
with respect, we're not talking about Simon here. We're talking about former players.
Do you ever think
could I speak on that?
Should a pundit ever think for a moment, I wonder if that kid, I wonder if that'll affect him, what I've just said.
Depends what's being said about them. If you turn around and say that a 19-year-old kid is absolutely useless and thick and ugly, then you're getting into... If you say that's a terrible performance, he's got to get a bit more about him.
I don't see any harm in this.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So, I mean, as former players, we need to be reminded every now and again. It looks very easy sat in the gantry. You know, you can all see the pass sat in the gantry. Only Dennis Bergkamp could see it on the pitch, and we forget the game looks easy. And it's all about development.
Oh yeah, but the basics.
And there are
pressures.
pressures.
There
are pressures.
No one expects everyone to operate like Pirlo or Dennis Bergkamp. It's about the basics. But people go after people for the basics when they don't do the basics, don't apply themselves. They don't do the basic fundamentals that it takes most decent Premier League footballers are.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it! We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Well, Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Still to come this afternoon. Angelina Canny joins us to reflect on the weekend in the women's game, the WSL. Well, we had diving. Well, they didn't dive in women's football.
No, it was poor.
It was a corker.
One of the worst dives of the season.
Anyway, more on that a little bit later on. Now, we talk a lot about the Luke Littler effect, don't we, Andy?
Yes, we do.
The difference he has made to the growth of darts in this country. Well, the Northamptonshire village of Gretton is a pretty good example of that, which I think it was kind of quite healthy darts-wise, but has just exploded for all age groups. And here to tell us more about that, Emma Spencer and Malloy are yes, different vintages, but all absolutely darts mad. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, Emma and Spencer, were you playing already? Were you already playing in sort of in the pub league in Gretton, or are you new to it because of the Luke Littler effect?
So I was already playing, and then the kids wanted to join, so that's why Malloy started playing. And then Spence, you joined the team just after Malloy, didn't you?
Yes.
Wow. So
just to keep an eye on them, really.
It's amazing. 8 teams in such as, with a population of just 1,240 is a remarkable statistic, isn't it?
Yes, it's very good. And we've got now 3 teams that have got under 18s in. So they're definitely, and they're getting better and better.
They're going to beat the men soon.
Oh, really? I mean, we've seen them getting younger and younger, haven't we? So, Malloy, are you? How did you get into it? Just purely by watching Luke Littler? Was he the inspiration for you to get involved in darts?
Yeah, practically. So I got a pair of darts for Christmas, and then I was watching Luke Littler, and I thought, why not have a try at darts? So.
And were you good straight away? Did you feel like you had it?
Not really.
He's got a very good throwing technique. He just needs to work on his doubles a little bit, but yeah, he really enjoys it, don't you?
Yeah.
Is he had a 9-dart finish yet?
Not quite.
Not yet.
No, not yet. Okay.
So the kids playing, are they playing on sort of the boards are lower? Is it a slightly different setup for them, or how's it work?
No, they play exactly the same as the men and the ladies do on the same boards. At the sports club, we've got 3 boards because we've got 4 home teams, and they play just like the men. They have to double in. Ladies don't have to double in.
Right.
But they have to double in and they have to double out, so they don't get any special treatment, do you?
Wow.
Well, that's the way to do it, I think.
Who's the best team in Gretton then? It must be quite competitive.
I would say it's probably the club, the Gretton Sports and Social Club team. That's the best team. They win the league quite a lot, don't they?
Most of the time, yeah. They've got some very good players.
It's great for business for all your pubs and clubs, isn't it? At a time when a lot of village pubs are closing down, it's fantastic that people are turning out there and spending money and keeping the scene alive and playing darts.
Yeah, we had the darts marathon last week, which was for Macmillan, and we had a load of people playing for 12 hours. So people came in cycles, and it was really good. Lots of people.
That's what you've got to do. If you want to be Luke Littler, Malloy, you've got to practice for 12 hours a day. I don't know if Luke does quite as much.
It's the 10,000 hour principle, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. They say you've got to do 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert. So, but it sounds like, Malloy, you enjoy it. It sounds like you enjoy playing darts. How many of your mates are playing? Have you got a lot of schoolmates playing as well?
Yeah, a few schoolmates playing, and then about 5 friends just playing.
Yeah.
It's from your football team, isn't it? It's from his Gretton under-11s football team.
Right.
They've all started to get involved now.
That's good.
And so you were saying, Spencer, you come to it fairly late. I mean, what was your darts like from the off? I mean, you wanted to do it because the family are all involved, but are your darts improving, would you say? Clearly not, because of Emma's
when I
laugh.
was a little bit younger.
Right.
And then I can't let Malloy beat me, but unfortunately he does beat me at the moment.
Beat
so
you.
it's one of those, it's sort of male pride, dad pride. I need to make sure that I practice a bit more and up my game. But
I think Spencer just uses an excuse to go for a beer on a Friday night.
Yeah,
fair
that's
enough.
right. You've got to keep the flag flying.
It must, though, do what most people, when you look at the professionals, you realise when you throw a dart yourself how brilliant these blokes are, like Littler.
yeah, it looks a lot easier than it is. When you stood there and you're trying to get a double, they make it look effortless.
We call it, the Luke Littler effect. But, I mean, as you said, I think there's been a big increase in the women's teams. So it's just the I don't know, it's the rise of darts. It's the profile of darts overall, isn't it? And there have been some very good...
Anyone can play. Anyone can pick up a dart and have a go at it.
Yeah, and there are some good women players to aspire to. Lots of young players coming through as well.
Yes, yeah, there are. But I think with the ladies now, it's an excuse to come out. And they don't like getting beaten by the men. They like to.
No, we don't like getting beat by the men.
So basically, it's a booze up and a battle of the sexes. But I mean, look, any excuse to get everybody out. So well, look,
it gives everybody a reason to come out on a Friday night,
and from your point of
especially in the winter.
Yeah, and it's a lovely family thing by the sound of it. Sounds like a lot of families are getting together and getting involved.
Yeah, we've got quite a few dads and sons playing, haven't we, together in the same team. So that's really nice.
Lovely.
Good stuff. Good. Well, good to talk to you, Malloy. We look forward to seeing you at Ali Pally in a few years' time. We're going to be looking out for you.
That's if you don't make it as a goalie, isn't it?
Okay. The other great love. All right, at Wembley or Ali Pally. But
that's the one.
We'll
remember more money in football. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, you say that. You say that. I mean, Luke Littler's earning Premier League wages these days. I'm sure that's part of the attraction. Guys, lovely to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
There we are. That's Emma Spencer and Malloy there from Gretton in Northamptonshire, the village that has gone darts crazy. Still to come this afternoon, we'll have some clips of the month. We want you to vote for them. Angelina Kelly's going to join us. We'll talk a bit of Super Bowl, and Andy Brassell's going to guide us around Europe and lots more besides.
Cameron, everything that we saw from Ruben Amorim, just to demonstrate the difference that Carrick has had. Like Manchester United have already surpassed the points tally from last season with 13 games to go.
Well, exactly. And winning that 4 on the bounce now. And I think the fifth game is actually going to be our hardest game, considering the form of West Ham. I think that will be our biggest test. And I know that we've played City, we've played Arsenal, but I think West Ham are going to be our biggest test.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, I thought today's victory was, on some definition, actually the best victory. It was the best one. You know, it wasn't relying on emotion. It wasn't about the huge occasion. It wasn't relying upon like the huge noise and the desperation to win of a derby. This was a routine victory. It was another day, another win for Manchester United. And that is what Manchester United need to get back to. Just that standard procedure 2-0.
Clips of the month coming up very, very shortly, and we'll be asking for your votes via @TSH&J after Max Scott with the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon. Man City might have clawed back some momentum in the title race with their late comeback win at Anfield last night, but Arsenal invincible Martin Keown's deciding to look at the positives for the Gunners.
Man City may look at this and say, well, do you know what, that was a definitive moment for us where we turn things around. It keeps the Premier League alive for the neutral, but it was always alive, Jim. And actually, I think 6 points instead of 9 is healthier.
Keown says being 6 ahead means people will stop saying the title is Arsenal's to lose. Now, with pressure mounting on Christian Romero's captaincy at Spurs, Simon Jordan says his red card at Old Trafford over the weekend makes Thomas Frank look weak.
If Thomas Frank were working for me, I would be asking him why he doesn't have control over his player. Why his player seems to believe on 2 or 3 occasions now he's able to say what he wants, about what he wants, when he wants.
Spurs take on Newcastle live on talkSPORT 2 tomorrow night, and Eddie Howe's backing himself to turn their poor form around despite questions from some sections of the fan base about his future. He says this challenging period will only make him stronger as a manager.
The pressure that individuals or other people can put on you, it's irrelevant really. I have to live with my own thoughts of myself and what I'm delivering, and that's very honest to say that after the game that I need to do better, and I will do better. It's part of the evolution, it's part of growing.
Check out our Inside the Toon show on YouTube for more reaction.
talkSPORT News.
Scottish Labour leader becomes the first leading party figure to call on Sir Keir Starmer to resign, and police say they're assessing new claims about former Prince Andrew. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Whatever the winter weather, Bridgestone Turanza all-season 6 tyres. Guaranteed for 25,000 miles. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Mostly cloudy with some brighter spells possible. Heavy rain and strong winds pushing into the southwest with a risk of flooding.
Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Clips of the month coming up very shortly, but it's time now for today's Bet Builder with our friends at Paddy Power. We welcome Fern Buckley, and we're looking forward to... say you're looking forward, I'm not so sure. All the Newcastle fans. Tomorrow night in the Premier League, as Tottenham play Newcastle, I'll be there. It's a live talkSPORT game, as are all the games midweek. Good afternoon, Fern.
Good afternoon. Oh, I don't think you're going to like this Bet Builder, Paul.
Oh, dear. OK, well, let's find out. Just remind us how the whole concept works, then.
Yeah, of course. We've all made some picks this afternoon, added them together to get some overall value. Paddy Power had then put a £10 bet down on it, hoping that we get it right. Because if we do, all the winnings goes to a charity bet, goes to the Attitude Foundation, who help out the LGBT community.
It's kind of a must-win for both, but certainly for Tottenham in a really precarious position, and them being the home team. I think both teams will score.
Yeah, and both managers under a lot of heat right now, both needing result. I mean, lots of booing this weekend for both sides. But this fixture is the most played in the Premier League history to never finish 0-0. Wow. There always tends to be lots of goals. And you look at where they're both at right now. Spurs have conceded at least 2 goals in each of their last 5 league games. Newcastle conceded at least 2 in 7 of their last 10. So, yeah, they've struggled to keep their respective opponents at bay in recent months. So both teams to score, which hopefully might happen. That's in at 4-7.
You think it's going to be a bit of a midfield war?
Andy, it will be, yeah. Tonali to be booked, I think.
Do you know, I was thinking about the car market too, but this is an interesting one because he's been relatively disciplined in the midfield this season. He's only had 3 yellows in 20 games. So was it just calling to you, this one? It was just like, Tonali's the guy.
Well, he's in the news, isn't he? It's often the way these sort of...
To be honest, Fern, I didn't do that much research. I've got to be frank with you.
He puts the hours in.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think if Romero had been playing, I could see Bruno getting booked because they always have a bit of a ding-dong. But, of course, there's no Romero for the foreseeable future. Tonali,
I should say, booking for him was on Paddy Power at 23-10. He's a super sub as well.
OK. Producer Sean has gone, Harvey Barnes to score any time.
Very nearly got the opener against Brentford at the weekend. It was so close, but he has been on a good run this year. Been a little while since he last scored, but he has had 12 goals across all competitions. So, it makes him Newcastle's top scorer. For him to get a goal any time in this match is in at 9-4, and he is another super sub too.
OK, well, the Paddy Power punters, they think it's going to be a Newcastle win.
I'm surprised at that.
Don't shoot the messenger here. Do not shoot the messenger. Interestingly, the fans do think Newcastle are going to win it. A good couple of thousand have this in their Paddy Power bets this afternoon. Bit rogue considering they've lost 3 Premier League matches and Spurs have had a little bit of better form, a little bit of a glimmer of hope.
It's got a draw written all over it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's not
Newcastle to win. It's at 5-4.
It's not really enough for either team at the moment. A draw.
No.
No.
I like look at your one though, Fern. What have you gone with?
Thank you. Yeah, I've gone for our final super sub, Dominic Solanke, to get 1 or more shots on target. He's back from that ankle injury, already on some form, scoring against Manchester City and a goal in the Champions League too. He loves scoring against Newcastle as well. I've got to say, 4 goals in his last 3 games against them. So a shot on target from him is in at 4-9.
So what are we looking at then collectively for this bet?
Pretty nice. It all comes in at 31.5-1. So from a £10 bet, you can get a return of £325. Paul, maybe you should do it so it doesn't go so badly if it all goes Pete on for Spurs.
Yeah. I'm not betting on Newcastle to win
And of course, if we get it right, all that money goes to the Attitude Foundation.
Good stuff. Thanks, Firma. Catch up with you soon.
Cheers, guys.
There we are. That's Paddy Power's Bet Builder for today. Minimum odds 1 to 5 per 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
It's time for the clips of the month for January. We found 6 of the best from last month, and they've gone into 2 semi-finals. We asked you to go and vote for your favourites at TSH&J. That's TSHANDJ on Twitter, X, whatever you prefer. And the winner of the 2 semi-finals, of course, then, go into a final. And we will play the winner of the clips of the month for January as voted for by you just before we hand over to Andy and Benty at 4 o'clock. So, why don't you kick us off today, Andy, with the first thing?
Okay. Got it in front of me. It's Alan Brazil on Breakfast with Ray Parlour chatting about Manchester City's new signing.
A reminder of the breaking news this morning. This is Semyon.
Semenya.
Semyon.
I wouldn't be saying Semyon. Not a great idea, Al, but it doesn't travel well. Now to Paul Ross and Kane Reeves on overnights, bringing us...
This is my favourite.
Our fantastic Super Bowl competition.
We're checking the return flights to San Francisco, 3 nights accommodation and spending money, all covered, all done and dusted. Listen up. Here's how to enter.
Yeah, it's where Tony Bennett left his hat, isn't it, Paul? San Francisco?
No, it's his heart, Kane. I mean, who's going to write a song about leaving your hat in San Francisco? Just go out and buy another hat, mate, wouldn't you?
You would.
Wouldn't be a whole
Kane said
song.
to me it was a berry.
Oh, okay. I left my hat in San Francisco.
Brilliant, isn't it?
What's next in this first semi-final?
Oh, it's a lovely duet by Angelina Kelly and Perry Groves on Matchday Live.
With Angelina Kelly, who's at the Emirates.
Over 35,000 people are set to descend on the Emirates Stadium today as Arsenal host Manchester United, and with just 1 point separating these teams in 3rd and 4th, it's all to play for. René Slagers, whose new deal with Arsenal until 2029 with...
Beautiful duet.
Yes, right.
For the first time, Angelina and Perry together at last. So that's semi-final 1. Semi-final 2. Around the 10th anniversary of David Bowie's sad passing, Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist did this beautiful on-air tribute. It was lovely. We were tearing up, Andy, weren't we?
Good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ali McCoist is with me. Why are we playing this, Ali, apart from the fact that it's absolutely brilliant?
Well, I know it's roughly 10 years since the great man passed. Is it bang on 10 years?
I'm not sure, to be honest, mate. I'm not sure.
He's one of the greatest
absolutely.
of all time. I'm not sure why you're playing it.
It's what he would have wanted, I think. No more fitting a tribute, really, a decade on.
It's ridiculous.
What's next?
It's newsreader Emma Cohen with some football news.
We're told not to read too much into Emery pushing Tielemans, and Newcastle are still waiting on news of Bruno Gimme-Rice.
Oh, we'll give you some rice.
Yeah, egg fried for me.
We'll give her some rice when she comes in at 3:30. And finally, it's another Carry On Talk Sport, this time featuring Rasmin Chowdhury and Virgin Radio's Emma B.
Huge game for you coming up live and exclusively on talkSPORT. Kickoff is at 12:30. It's our big exclusive Premier League match. It is the Manchester Derby. That's how big it is. I can't even get out.
And who wants to be running, 26 miles in these kind of glasses? So people have suggested very focal, contact lenses. I was trying a very lovely strap on.
So what's your favourite? Is it Alan Brazil Semyon? Is it I left my hat in San Francisco? Is it the duet between Angelina and Perry? Is it that beautiful tribute to David Bowie? Is it Emma Kerwin wanting some rice? Or is it Emma B and Reshmin on Carry On Talk Sport? Go to @TSH&J, TSHANDJ, and vote for your favourite. The 2 semi-finals should be up there now. Just after 3:30, we will bring you the final. We'll have the 2 finalists, and then we'll play you the winner just before drive at 4 o'clock. And there we are. There were your clips of the month for January. Still to come this afternoon, we're going to be chatting to Andy Brassell, European football expert, looking at some of the big stories from the weekend in Europe. Angelina Kelly joins us. WSL conversation. There's some interesting games. A blatant dive in the women's game. We were told women didn't dive. And also the ongoing Eni Aluko conversation that many people have been weighing in on over the weekend. So Angelina joining us later on. In the meantime, Andy.
Yeah, lovely one from the Times Court Circular today. The marriage was announced between the Earl of Dundee.
Dandy?
Not Dandy, Dundee.
Yes.
Earl of Dundee and Mrs. J.H. Trotter. Oh. And I don't know if she tried to persuade him to get married by saying, this time next year we'll be millionaires. Also, did she fall through the bar at the reception?
I think she did, yeah. You'd feel duty bound with that, certainly. That's why she's dishing it, though. Yeah. She'll be Mrs. Dundee.
J.H. Dundee, yeah.
She'll be D.H. Dundee.
Well, I don't know. Well, yes.
I suppose she will be, won't she? Yeah, marvellous. Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, there's an interesting presidential election. Andy Brassell might tell us about this at Barca.
Yeah.
Joan Laporta's main rival is a guy called Victor Font. He's not my type.
He's not. That's it. Got any more? Fantastic. We went into overdrive. We're watching Canada play South Africa. There's only one ball left of South Africa's innings. They put them in to bat. Canada won the toss, so they obviously want to chase, but they will be chasing probably about 210. So it looks in the bag for South Africa. England, of course, went all the way with Nepal yesterday. It looked like Nepal were going to win. So, I mean, I did the papers going, I said to you, I said it was that close you could feel the Sherpas tensing. And you were going down a mountain to climb. It would have been appalling if we'd lost. You could just seen the headlines, wouldn't it? They saved themselves.
I was going mad.
200 they got a 6 off the last ball. 213 for 4. That's what.
You only needed a 4. I mean, to be fair to Sam Curran, bowled really well the last over. Archer, I don't know what on earth that was.
Yeah, it wasn't
the
great.
worst death
bowling really short,
ever seen in your life.
It was a bit of a disaster. Anyway, Andy Brassell's up next. We'll look at some of the big stories from around Europe. Try and squeeze in a bit of Super Bowl. Hopefully hear from some of the gaffers. Just a reminder that all 10 games in the Premier League midweek are live on the talkSPORT network. And really the easiest way to stay right across it is via the app. So download the talkSPORT app. You can swipe between the games where all of our sister stations are on there, and Talk Radio are going to be hoovering up some of the games as well because there's so much to bring you. So this is the perfect time to download it. And we look forward to bringing you all those matches and some busy sports bars straight after them throughout the week. But next, as we said, Andy Brassell joining us to guide us around Europe. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station.
Legendary retired referee Dermot Gallagher joins us here on the show. How are we, Dermot?
Hi, Majestic. Hi, Al.
Hi, Dermot. Listen, let's just get your thoughts off that straight off the bat. We don't want to ask you no questions. You're the ref. Tell us what you saw.
I have to say, I get what Alan says, and I think lots and lots of people will say, give the goal. It keeps 11 against 11. It keeps everybody happy. But when you look at it, there's no doubt whatsoever Szoboszlai is fouled, and by Haaland fouling him, he will argue that stopped him clearing the ball off the line. But you go back, the only reason Szoboszlai gets that far back is because he actually hauls Haaland back. That's the first foul. So I don't think I think Craig has tried to play advantage because he thinks it'll be a goal.
definitely Dermot. He's played advantage, isn't he?
Yeah, he's played advantage, and bear in mind, Al, that he can always bring that back if it goes wrong. So
but if you go to the second part, right, where Haaland fouls him, right, but the ball's gone in the net. So why didn't he play advantage there as well?
Well, he can't play an advantage for foul on Szoboszlai, can he? Because if the ball's in the net, the game, it's terminated, isn't it? That moves over. But if you actually look, that ball's not in the net when he pulls Szoboszlai back. And the problem there, Al, is that
but don't you think he see that, Dermot? Don't you think he see the first incident, right? And he's played on. Yeah. He's seen the second incident. He must have seen it. It was fairly obvious. And he still give a goal. That was the on-field decision, wasn't it?
The on-field decision was goal. That's correct. So all I can presume is he hasn't.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Keep you updated on the clips of the month. You can go and vote at TSH&J, TSHANDJ, should I say. That's on Twitter. It's the filth you like. Carry On talkSPORT is leading playoff 2. Playoff 1 is Alan Brazil's rather spectacular pronunciation of Antoine Semenyo's name. So if you liked others, go and vote for them now at TSH&J, TSHANDJ on Twitter, and we'll have our two finalists in around 12 minutes' time, because we're going to head around Europe once again with Andy Brassel. Good afternoon, Andy.
Hello, you guys. How are you?
Yeah, not thanks. A great weekend for current Brighton or ex-Brighton managers. Roberto De Zerbi well beaten PSG, and he's under a bit of pressure, isn't he?
What an interesting way of framing going to the brink of losing your job at Marseille, I suppose. Yeah, maybe not the way it's being framed on the south coast of France, but look, I think of all the things that could have happened at PSG away, look, they've got a dreadful record against PSG. There's no doubt about that. If you look at the fact that earlier in the season, where there was all that fuss about wouldn't they move it for the Ballon d'Or ceremony back in September, Marseille won that game with a very early goal, and it was the first time that they'd beaten, the second time that they'd beaten PSG in the league since 2011. That's where we are. Now, we realise there is a difference in resources, but there's a difference in resources for other clubs, like Lens, who were the overnight leaders after Alain Saint-Maximin scored on his debut on Saturday. And they're still able to compete. Lyon, of course, they're benefiting from the loan of Endrick at the moment, but they've won 12 successive games. And if you're Marseille, who've slipped down to fourth place now, which, by the way, is not an automatic Champions League qualifying place, you'd have to go through third qualifying round and playoff round. It's quite a tough sell. And when you turn up and not just as not committed, but tactically clueless as they were. Like PSG were really good. There's no doubt about that. Ousmane Dembélé was on Ballon d'Or sort of form. But at the moment, the pressure is so intense. It's kind of like, when you can talk about transitional spells at a Chelsea or a Manchester United, people don't want to hear it. People just don't want to hear it. To be able to really work on something, you don't have the time to do that. And that's the thing with Marseille. Do I think it'd make Marseille better if they sacked De Zerbi? No, it definitely wouldn't. I think they'd be almost writing off a top two or maybe even a top three finish But that's what I think might happen because the pressure has got to such a level.
Endrick picked up a red card. We were only saying last week what a start he's made, but was it deserving, Andy?
Maybe. I think it was a little harsh. He got himself a booking early on, and it was one of those ones where he got a second yellow card. Basically, there was a foul on him that didn't get called, and as he was trying to get the ball back, he fouled the guy, and it was given a little harshly as a second yellow card. The referee stopped him, and you thought, well, hang on, he can't take back yellow cards, can he? And he couldn't unless he wanted to turn it into a straight red card, which, funnily enough, with the suspension system in France, will probably make no difference to the sort of ban he'll get. He'll probably just get a one-game ban anyway. But it was interesting, the discussion after it. And as I said, it didn't stop Lyon winning at Nantes for the 12th time in a row. But the discussion in France, it was led by Paulo Fonseca, the Lyon coach, who said, you know what, he's just not being protected enough. He's getting kicks from pillar to post week after week after week. And amazingly, no one came out and said, stop moaning. Everyone in the French media agreed with him. Oh. And I think that's really, really interesting. You don't really get that in a lot of other football cultures, do you? This idea of we must protect the star player at all costs. But this is something that France is really big on. And I think part of it is, we want big players to come to our country. And maybe if we've got a reputation for players getting kicked, that won't happen in the future.
Interesting.
No, I thought that for a long time about certain players being put off the Premier League because of the physicality of it. Yeah, definitely.
And we can see how good players struggle to adjust. Now, we spoke last week to the man who supplies a schnitzel every time Harry Kane scores a goal, takes it around to his house. 2 more arrived at Shea Kane at the weekend, didn't they?
You can't help but think, given the amount of penalties he takes, maybe they should give half a schnitzel for a penalty.
Good idea. Kids' portion.
Like
yeah, it's a good idea.
I'm just wondering, of course, Uli Hoeneß, Bayern legend, owns a sausage factory. So if he's adding sausages every time Harry Kane scores as well, I mean, it could be out of control, really. He must have one hell of a meat freezer. But
I bet his sausages are better than anybody else's. And
they are the best sausages.
He can't stand anyone else even making sausages.
Yeah, that's almost certainly. He'll criticise the sausages of every other club. Yeah, that's true. You get the idea.
Andy, as long as the appropriate tax is paid on them, and you don't have English companies coming in and paying twice the price that a German would for the sausages, I think we're fine.
I think we've exhausted the sausage analogy, really.
we might have done.
Yeah, I think so.
We might have done.
Good.
But, it's funny because Bayern went into this game and it felt like a real top game against Hoffenheim because Hoffenheim were third place. They won 5 in a row going into this. Bayern had only got 1 point from their last 2 games. And then Hoffenheim give away a penalty, and the guy who commits the foul, Kevin Akpoguma, who can't deal with Luis Diaz, just as no one could, get sent off. So when they're down to 10 men with 73 minutes left and Kane scores the penalty, you think, okay, here we go. Now, Manuel Neuer makes a mistake that leads to an Andrej Kramaric goal, leading Hoffenheim straight back into the game. 45 minutes, they're home free. They're going into the break at 1-1. And then Vladimir Sufal is involved in a penalty incident, which was really quite harsh. Basically, he was fouled by Diaz, and as he's falling over and trying to stop himself falling over, he grabs Diaz. That's given as a foul. It's the penalty. Of course, Kane puts it away. 30 seconds after the restart, Kane sets up Luis Diaz for another one. It's 3-1 at halftime. It's all over. It ends up 5-1 in the end. So it's one of those top games that really had the potential to be an exciting game, especially as Dortmund had closed the gap. They won 2-1 Wolfsburg the day before, which closed the gap to 3 points at the top pending this game. So, look, if we go into the Klassiker at the end of the month between Dortmund and Bayern, which is at Dortmund, and it's still 6 points, it feels as if at least there's the facade of some sort of competitiveness. But it's quite disappointing when you've got a game like this where you feel as if, something could happen in this game, and it's just completely undercut by a few little twists of fate.
Now, Trent Alexander-Arnold returned for Real Madrid at the weekend, didn't he, Andy? How did he fare?
Yeah, fine. He played the last 15 minutes of Real Madrid's win at Valencia, and he adds a little something, of course, because he wants to underlap as well. He was involved. He looked fit. So that's nice to see. Of course, the Real Madrid medical department are under quite a lot of scrutiny at the moment because of those 2 injuries to him. And you've got the fact that Dani Carvajal, who's main competitor, a very different sort of right back at the moment. Reportedly, massively has the hump that Trent Alexander-Arnold was invited off the bench and not him in the back end of that. I mean, it wouldn't be Real Madrid if there wasn't some sort of internal hissy fitting, would it? But another goal for Kylian Mbappe, and only 1 point, the gap at the top, although Atletico losing at home to Betis this weekend has played them out of the title race. So it's pretty much a two-horse race now.
It's quite a gap, isn't it? If you were a betting man looking at the squads they have and the games that are left, who are you going with, Barca or Real?
Barcelona are the better team by an absolute mile.
Yeah.
But, and this is the but, I think Real Madrid are not equipped to win the Champions League, which is a weird thing because, they're completely defined by the Champions League. I don't think the coach is good enough to win it. I don't think their individual players who have seen them through previous Champions League are way better than everyone else is. They're not in that position at all. So I would not be surprised to see a relatively early exit from the Champions League, maybe in the last 16 or last 8. And then if Barcelona are following it to the end, who knows? With that extra bit of rest, and remember, Real Madrid are eliminated from the Copa del Rey as well. Barcelona are through to the semi-finals. Barcelona will end up playing more games. And so I think the team that is not the better team might end up winning La Liga.
And in Italy, Inter still flying, laid down a bit of a mark, a big win for them at the weekend.
Yeah, 5-0 at Sassuolo. So they are now 8 points clear at the top. Juventus dropped points this weekend as well. Milan are just a little bit off it too. You had a 95th minute winner for Napoli, but really it looks more for them like holding on to a Champions League place with the amount of injuries they've had. And of course, Antonio Conte hasn't talked about it at all. So that's a relief. Inter have consistently been the best team in the league by a way for the last couple of years. And now they're finally proving it.
I can really test your knowledge of European football. I'm sure Watford fans would like to know a bit more about Edward Still. He's one of the 3 Still brothers. We know Will, of course, from his spell at Southampton. But he worked with him at Lens. Edward, he's going to get the Watford job. He's been at Anderlecht. I mean, has he been on your radar at all, Andy?
Well, it's clear that he's been putting himself forward for top jobs going forward. Now, he's not been a head coach since, 2023, I think. So I know a lot of Watford fans have had a look at his limited history of being a head coach in Belgium, which, as I said, he's not done for nearly 3 years. Looked at the numbers, particularly in the last couple of jobs at Eupen and Kortrijk, where it's very, very difficult to succeed, and said, well, this guy hasn't won any games. How's he going to help us? Well, of course, there's an element of risk to it. But, he's made a contribution to Will Still's last couple of jobs. Of course, it didn't go as they wanted at Southampton, but it went well at Rennes and at Lens as well on relative pittance of a budget, although how Lens have gone since then, I think, underlines the fact that Pierre Sage is actually that pushing elite level coach rather than Will Still. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. But look, Watford are simply just running out of people to offer the job, aren't they? I mean, how long was Javi Gracia in charge the second time? 6 weeks? 8 weeks? I'm asking you. I don't know.
I think it wasn't much longer. He walked, apparently, didn't he? He didn't like what was going on there. But, it's a big job for Edward Still, isn't it, really, to go in there? But, you're only just passing through. Yeah, it's
just an opportunity, really, isn't it, Paul? Because the fact is, if he does well, great. If he doesn't do well, he's just another one of the millions of managers fired by Watford.
It's a free hit, Andy. Exactly,
it
is a free hit. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks, Andy.
Look forward to it. Thanks.
There we are. Andy Brassel, European football expert, one half of Trans-Europe Express. If you missed the show last night, they talked about Barca withdrawing from the European Super League, Bayern's 5-1 win. And it's always a great listen. And it's available as a podcast if you did miss it on Sunday night. So it's on the talkSPORT app or via your favourite podcast platform. Shall I give you an update on the clips of the month, Andy? Shall I do that? Let's see if I can kind of squeeze it.
I'll give you an update on the cricket. They're Canada chasing 214. They lost a wicket on the first ball.
Okay. Well, I did sense there was nothing downfall. No. We're going to end the poll very soon. It looks like the final is going to be Alan Brazil trying to pronounce Antoine Semenyo's name and carry on talkSPORT. There you. It's always a bit route one.
I left my hat. You're not.
They prefer the filth. There we are. So there's they're the options, and you can go and vote for your finalists. You've got a couple of minutes left to do that, and then we will bring you the winner. just before 4 o'clock. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT, and we're going to enter the world of women's football next. And we're going to hear a statement from Eni Aluko that she has issued, and I believe she's going to be on with Jim and Simon tomorrow. But it's in response to our old colleague Laura Wood's post earlier on. But Angelina Kelly, part of our top team here on women's football and more, is going to pop in and be part of that conversation in a moment.
On BBC, you've got, I think it was Ellen White, Steph Horton, Nedum Onuora. No offence to Nedum Onuora, nothing against him. I don't know whether he played for England or not. But you're on the main panel for the final for England women. Mm-hmm. Let's go over to ITV. I'm in the stands with 105 caps. So you've got two women. Between us, we've got 290 caps, something ridiculous, right? You turn over to ITV, and it's Ian Wright, Emma Hayes, and Kaz Carney. So out of 6 spots on 2 of the main, you can't watch the game anywhere else. Out of 6 punditry spots, 2 have gone to men, yeah? Meanwhile, you've got 290, whatever it is, I got sitting in the stands.
Why are there 4 other women being in these positions? And as far as she's concerned, she's not one of them. I would suggest that she's not a very good broadcaster.
Former Premier League ref Chris Foy has told talkSPORT VAR just did its job in disallowing Cherki's goal during City's win at Anfield.
It sounds boring, it sounds tedious, but they have a job to do.
Well, the review means Szoboszlai misses Liverpool's game at Sunderland live on talkSPORT on Wednesday night, and City's comeback has cut Arsenal's lead from 9 to 6 points. But Martin Keown reckons that's actually better for the Gunners, who keep getting accused of mental weakness.
If they go 9 points clear, then it's theirs to lose again. And we get all of that propaganda that is worked to try and keep this story alive.
Propaganda from who?
Well, that's what I would see it as if I was on the inside. I'm listening, I'm shutting out all the noise.
Elsewhere, we're hearing Sandro Tonali would be up for heading home to Italy. Juventus are keen, along with several Premier League clubs. Meanwhile, Eddie Howe has again insisted he's the right man to take Newcastle forward.
There's no doubt in my mind, and that's why I'm sat here, because, as I said, the club's the most important thing. So I'd never put myself before the club if I didn't think I was the correct man to take the team forward.
And Brendan McCullum's job will be safe if England make the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup. That's according to former England coach David Lloyd. But they'll have to make some serious improvements to make the latter stages. McCullum's boys only scraped past Nepal by 4 runs yesterday.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Time to talk women's football once again. It was another busy weekend in the WSL, some interesting talking points. Angelina Kelly has joined us. Hi, Angelina.
Hello.
You were at the game. You were watching the Arsenal-City game. We're going to have a chat about that in a few moments' time. But the other big story in the world of women's football is the comments by former England striker Eni Aluko, speaking on a podcast, saying she was... well, I mean, look, it's a bit more nuanced. I won't put words into her mouth. I think most people know what she said on the podcast regarding the fact that I think she was sitting there ahead of the game, the Euro final, and she felt maybe she should have been on screen. Our own Laura Woods, of course, our former colleague here at talkSPORT, went back and made her point. Eni Aluko's issued a statement saying, I respect Laura's opinion, as I always have done. For 11 years, I worked alongside the likes of Laura and all those considered the best pundits in the game. It's therefore clear I was considered one of the best too if I was part of the same punditry
Such a lack of self-awareness here, I'm telling you.
No one who's ever hired me as a pundit has said I wasn't good enough or did not have the attributes Laura referred to. Quite the contrary. I believe that women's football should prioritise women as the faces of the sport. It's as simple as that. I think women should be the dominant force in the women's game in the same way that men are the dominant force in the men's game. That means men should play more of a supporting role. No one is saying any man should be excluded, but the roles do need to be defined. That's all I'm saying. People are quite free to disagree whilst respecting my right to an opinion too. So, Angelina, what do you make of the statement?
It's an interesting one because the original argument was focusing on the volume of caps and the experience that she has with England, which to an extent you can of course appreciate, but that doesn't equal a good pundit, which is what I think Laura Woods was trying to say. And if you do compare it to the men's game, you know, you think of the most capped England player of all time, Peter Shilton. We don't see him doing that much punditry work. Think of the last English footballer to win the Ballon d'Or, Michael Owen. We don't really see him that much on our screens, and people do have quite strong opinions about whether they think he's good or not. And having a high level of footballing experience as a pundit is obviously very important. But it's about how you apply that experience to the games you're analysing and about how you deliver that on air to your audience. And I know that Eni has obviously responded to what Laura said. I feel like, without trying to be too rude, but she may not have had anybody say anything to her, but if you're not being hired for work, that does kind of indicate
that might be a clue.
You know, but perhaps, and I think also for me as a person of colour, her speaking about Ian Wright and Neda Manuha, for the black community, having people as pundits on TV, some people, I think about, you know, people in my family, my uncles that are, you know, over 70, would never in a million years have even thought they'd see that. So I think to kind of go against, you know, other people in the black community, it is a little bit disappointing. But the main thing is, one thing about women's football, it has a strong female audience. I was at the Emirates on Sunday. There was nearly 40,000 people there. So regarding, the majority of them were women. So regarding growing this game, we've got the female audience. I want more men, I want more boys to be women's football fans. And I think having credible names like Ian and like Nadine, it surely helps that. And we do have female pundits. We have on BBC, Alex Scott, Ellen White, Farrah Williams covering games, which is great.
I think Lucy Ward is brilliant.
Exactly. And
brilliant.
Having the visibility of maybe male footballers. So if you have male football fans that are switching on, they might see Ian Wright talk about women's football. They might give it a chance. They might buy into it more. And I think that's the important thing here. And this is why we also see women covering men's football as well, either presenting, reporting, punditry. It's not a box-ticking exercise, but it's to show female viewers that they're welcome to the game too, because, you know, a woman will pay the same subscription to something like Sky Sports as a man would.
You cover both, and you cover both brilliantly, and therefore people want to use you. You're lovely to be with. They're great to hire. That's how it works in this business. If people aren't hiring you, have a bit of self-awareness. There's a reason.
And I think also having to put things out on, you've been on a podcast, you're then having to put out an Instagram story and a written statement. If you're having to do all of these things, maybe you need to look at what you're saying. Maybe you're not getting the message across properly. Maybe you're not saying something completely correct. And, you know, I know that she's spoken about how Ian Wright should have shown grace and allyship. She said that on her Instagram story, that him not accepting her apology meant that, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, but this was my understanding of it, that Ian Wright not showing grace and allyship by accepting her apology was a bit of a gateway towards her getting a lot of hate, and she really felt that he should have accepted her apology. But I do think that it's a very strong thing to say to blame him for, some of the abuse that she's received. And like she's entitled to give an opinion on something, Ian Wright is also entitled to not want to accept somebody's apology if he's hurt. So I can see why people are criticising this, maybe thinking there's a little bit of hypocrisy. But, for me, I just think that if you're having to do all this chasing after giving your opinion, maybe have a look at it.
Yeah. I think your point is a good one. I mean, Wrighty was upset because he's been a great champion of women's football.
How about don't say it in the first place? That would be a good one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think that was a real misstep, and I'm not altogether sure it's a great idea to sort of open that old wound again. But she will be on with Jim and Simon tomorrow. I know Simon had his say earlier on. She wasn't probably particularly happy with that, but you'll hear what Eni Aluko has to say on the show tomorrow. On to the football.
Yes.
Arsenal won, Manchester City 0. I mean, City are absolutely flying, so a much-needed victory. We do want to talk about the Olivia Smith, fantastic player, and scored the goal. But we did see a terrible, blatant dive.
There was a dive, yeah.
I mean, it was a proper Mr. Grimsdale Norman. I mean, there was no contact. I was surprised how the City players weren't around her, telling her to get up, and she didn't get a yellow card for simulation.
And then you also have another situation. I don't know if you saw the Mariona Caldente foul on Lauren Hemp. I think that Caldente had a bit of a mixed bag of a game in the opening 11 seconds. Miedema managed to dispossess her in the centre circle and then nearly had a shot at goal. Then Caldente provided the assist for Olivia Smith, who was playing through the middle because Stina Blackstenius had a calf niggle, so wasn't available. And we were all sat because obviously we had commentary on talkSPORT too. Myself, Ian Danter, Leanne Sanderson. We're all discussing, well, who's going to be playing through the middle? Will it be Alessia Russo? Will she stay more in that number 10 role? And Olivia Smith played through the middle, and despite the dive, which I appreciate wasn't great, she was absolutely fantastic. But Caldente, like I say, she did clip Lauren Hemp. It looked like twice to me. She was the last Arsenal player. Denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. I think that Arsenal were very lucky there. But for them, it's a big 3 points. Ends City's 13-game winning streak in the WSL. City's first defeat since the opening day of the season. And I just think, City are still at the top of the table. But I think this title race, there's still a little bit in it. There's 7 games left to play. Arsenal have 8 because they have a game in hand.
And the race for Europe.
And they've got City.
Really strong
City got 8 points in United on second. As you said, Arsenal have got a game in hand, but they're 10 points behind them at the moment. So it'd have to be some drop off from City.
It just depends if this affects City's confidence, because if you're not used to losing that often and then it happens, but you can't take anything away from City. They have been absolutely fantastic. And it was a little bit disappointing at the weekend, considering they just put 5 past Chelsea the weekend before.
Yeah. As we were chatting about Eni Aluko, we're a bit tight for time. So there was one other fixture to pull out. It probably should be Spurs-Chelsea. Spurs have had a good season under Martin Ho's done a good job.
Yeah.
But the class told a little bit for Chelsea at the weekend.
And Madonna was there.
Oh, Madonna was there, watching her 14-year-old twins.
Her twins were playing in the under-14s the day before, and she allegedly took her second ever Uber to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Right.
And she watched Spurs, like you said, a bit disappointing.
Did she give 5 stars to the driver? I'd like to think she did. Imagine her getting marked down on Uber.
Imagine you see Madonna's profile come up as an Uber driver. I don't know if you'd be a bit scared to accept.
I like a 5-year-old Prius with a sticky door turning up. That would be. I bet she probably went for the limo service.
The exec 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
And I bet it was someone else who got the ride for her.
Connections to football, because one of our other adopted children plays for Barca, isn't he?
He was a little while ago. One of her
and her boyfriend also played football as well.
Okay, so she's probably into the game. I wonder if she'll be turning up for all the matches now. She got the bug.
Who knows?
I'd like that. So the girls play for Spurs, the twins.
Under 14. So you never know. In a few years, if they make it to the first team.
What are they doing tomorrow night? I mean, we got that. We got the Madonna twins. That would be fantastic. Ciccone twins. Yeah, stick them on the bench.
Yeah. Have a quick gloat about Manchester.
Oh, go on then. Yeah, go on.
Oh, Manchester United, men and women, everything's going well. Yeah. Me and Alex Crook are almost getting a bit too excited talking about what if Man United gets second in the Premier League. Yeah. Like I say, the women as well in second. It's who'd have thought at the beginning of the season, the amount of times I come on here and I'm so upset and I don't even want to talk about them. Who'd have thought that I had something positive to say? It's been excellent, and fingers crossed Frank gets his hair cut.
That's true. I think we're all going to be following that. So Frank can get his hair cut.
I want West Ham to win.
Keep the hair growing.
Having to start again from game 1. It was so hard. Thanks, Angelina.
Thanks, Angelina.
Just a reminder, Eni Aluko on with Jim White and Simon Jordan tomorrow morning from 10. We're going to reflect on the Super Bowl in a few moments' time. But before that, Boxing. We brought you the Nick Ball fight, which ended in slightly chaotic fashion at the weekend. But don't miss DAZN's packed fight schedule. Fights every week, including a triple header next weekend. Live from Sheffield on Saturday as a fierce rivalry reignites in a highly anticipated rematch. Lee Wood versus Josh Warrington. Then later that night, live from Vegas, high-stakes clash as Ryan Garcia chases his first world title against Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight world title. Finally, the return of Clarissa Shields faces Franchon Cruz Desm in a undisputed heavyweight rematch next Sunday. So you can sign up to DAZN Ultimate, that's DAZN, and get 12+ pay-per-view fights a year, including Garcia versus Barrios on February the 21st at no extra cost. Watch all these fights only on DAZN.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
There's so many twists and turns in this. When you've been on this road, right? Now, look, there are certain people who were at that game yesterday, former Manchester United players who've won this thing many, many times. I've won it as well. And you have to shut out the noise. It's about what you do, not what the opposition do. And, of course, it would have been handy if it had gone 9 points clear. But the fact that it didn't happen, Arsenal are not derailed by that. Arsenal, I actually saw a lot from Arsenal at the weekend that makes me think, actually, do you know what? They could go the distance. But this is the life. When you're trying to lead, when you're trying to be a prospective champion, Jim, there are twists and turns. You stay calm and you stay confident and you go to the next game. Arsenal play Brentford now. Now, for those people, the neutrals that were, I mean, by the way, Sunderland gave everything at the weekend. So nobody was like, it wasn't an easy gimme for Arsenal. Brentford now is another very difficult game for Arsenal.
Of course,
as it would have been if they would have been 9 points clear.
They're all difficult games. We know that. Psychologically, might this be bigger for Manchester City, though, Simon, than it is for Arsenal?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with Arsenal. Arsenal don't need to worry about what Man City are doing. The only time Arsenal need to worry about what Man City is doing is when they're playing them. Arsenal are in control of their own destiny.
You don't think Arsenal players watched that game yesterday at Anfield?
They might do.
Of course they did.
But again, you're asking me what I think, not what they think. What I think is that Arsenal's only concern is what they do. They can't control what Man City do. If Man City go and beat teams 10-0 or lose 10-0, it's got nothing to do with Arsenal. If Arsenal win the games, Man City have got to get 3 better results out of the next 15 games. So 25 to 20% of the games, Man City have got to get better outcomes than Arsenal. And nothing about Arsenal's current form. And in fact, when they went up to Leeds and bashed the Leeds side that most people were struggling with them.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
sidelines empty, and the Seattle Seahawks are your Super Bowl 60 champions. Mike McDonald, less than 40 years old, the fourth youngest head coach in NFL history to reach this pinnacle. Sam Darnold may have not been the MVP today, but what a story this season has been for him. The first player under 30 to be a week one starter for 4 different teams, failing in the playoffs with Minnesota last season. They said he couldn't do it in the clutch moments. Well, now he's done it in the clutchest of moments, and he has won the Lombardi Trophy.
Yes, we were proud to bring you Super Bowl 60 here on talkSPORT overnight. It was a pretty comfortable win for the Seattle Seahawks, 29-13.
It wasn't a touchdown score to the fourth quarter. It was very tedious stuff, I think.
Well, let's ask Will Gavin, who was commentating for us. Hi, Will.
One for the purists is a fair thing to do.
I think that's right, Will.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's great that one of the defensive cornerstones was a Brit, of course, which helps. So we salute good defensive work, or defensive work, should I say.
How do you pronounce his name? So I've heard it.
Neil Reynolds says he's an Adden, not an Aiden. So he's but everybody calls him
last name as well.
Durd. Everybody calls him AD, so we get away with it that way, don't we?
Durday today on Sky.
Oh, were they calling him?
Well, it is Adden Durday.
Oh,
Technically, it's Adden Durday. Wow. As you say, AD is how you say it. We caught up with AD in the locker room afterwards, and in fact, we spoke to a bunch of his players as well. Uchenna Nwosu, who had the second and game-sealing touchdown for the Seahawks, a pick six, as it was eventually ruled, of quarterback Drake May. He was so effusive in his praise of everything that Adden had brought to the team. DeMarcus Lawrence, who's an 11-year veteran of the NFL, spent 10 years at the Dallas Cowboys, kind of fighting uphill, never really getting the opportunity to play in a game like this. When he became available last off-season, he said the only place he wanted to sign was with Seattle because Adden was there, because he'd worked with him for the Dallas Cowboys. And we spoke to Leslie Frazier. Now, Les Frazier he's the assistant head coach of this Seahawks team. He won the Super Bowl with the Chicago Bears as part of that fearsome defense in Super Bowl 20. He won it as an assistant coach with the Indianapolis Colts back in 2007. And he told us that he thinks the Seattle Seahawks don't win this championship unless Adden Durday is part of their team. So we spoke to Adden himself. He was absolutely wonderful, as he always is. Talked about his time coming all the way from coaching the London Warriors, an amateur team in the UK, up to becoming a coach with the Seahawks. He said it feels just the same as winning a championship in the UK, because the key thing is it's about winning a championship with your brothers, with the people that you come up with. And he said that
you don't get a ring though, like they get, do you?
No, the ring will be nice.
It's quite a compensation.
Also a West Ham fan, we understand. He was pictured holding the West Ham shirt, so West Ham fans can claim him as their own.
Yeah, North London boy, but North East London, and certainly a hammer. And he told us the person he's most excited to share this one with is his mum. She was back home watching a watch party with everyone, and he couldn't wait to get on the phone and chat to her. So we were like, well, why are you talking to us then? Go and call your mum.
He's got a good chance of getting a coach's job, hasn't he, to be senior coach off the back of what he's achieved.
Yeah, I mean, he had head coaching interests during this latest run. He did have a couple of interviews. I think that, what I'd like to sit here and say is he'll definitely be a head coach the season after this. He'll stay with the Seahawks for next year. But what I suspect is this round of coaching, there were 10 jobs available. The average is normally 6 of the 32. So I think because there was such a high turnover this time round, it'll maybe be only 2 or 3 jobs next time. So he might be waiting 2 years. But I think it's inevitable he becomes the first British head coach in NFL history.
Is there a hump to get over? Is there a kind of sniffiness about the fact he's a Brit? It doesn't sound like what you said, but is there some worries about appointing a Brit to do that job?
Do you know what? They joke about it, and they say that everything he says sounds classier than anyone else. But I mean, Les Frazier even said it to us. He said, for a guy who speaks your language, as he said it to me, I'm like, it's the same language, Les, but he said, for someone who speaks as you do, you'd think maybe there would be a barrier, but he's such a brilliant communicator and such a brilliant leader that nobody has ever cared.
Have you gone viral stateside yet?
We have had our call of the AJ Barner touchdown put out there. I think at last check it had about 1 million views on Instagram,
Wow.
so that's absolutely lovely.
Brilliant.
There'll be some more pumped out this morning, I'm sure. It wasn't a game full of highlights, so there wasn't a huge number. I hope that Chen and Nwosu pick 6 does make it out there. But yeah, it was... I mean, it's a bit harsh to call a game for the purists. I think it was a lot of fun. I think if you do like defensive football, there were so many brilliant plays. There was sacks and the 2 picks from the Seahawks. And, you know, I thought they played phenomenally on that side of the ball and were really deserving of the victory.
Well done to you and the team.
Thanks, Will.
Will, safe journey home. Thanks very much.
No worries. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Will Gavin there, part of our top team that brought you the Super Bowl overnight. So let's just bring you the winner of the clips of the month for January. I kind of think we could have predicted this, but the winner was the Carry On talkSPORT moment featuring Reshmin and Emma B.
Huge game for you coming up live and exclusively on talkSPORT. Kickoff is at 12:30. It's our big exclusive Premier League match. It is the Manchester Derby. That's how big it is. I can't even get it out.
And who wants to be running, 26 miles in these kind of glasses? So people have suggested very focal, contact lenses. I was trying a very lovely strap on.
But it was pretty close. Alan Brazil's pronunciation of Antoine Semenyo got 48, but Carry On talkSPORT 52. Thanks to everybody who voted in the final and the semi-finals. That is us. We'll be back tomorrow building up to a huge week of football. Don't forget you can hear all 10 games on the talkSPORT network. Download that app. It's the easiest way to keep in touch with all the live football this week. Here, reflecting on a mad weekend, I'm sure, with a focus on Liverpool-City and more. It's Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent with Drive.
If we look at the bottom of the table, we're looking at one spot. Do you believe that everybody up to and including Tottenham are in it?
Oh, without doubt. Absolutely. I would even take a step further and say Brighton and Palace will be all right, but I think they need a couple of victories in the